All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 716, 5,885, and 55 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. I am one of the hosts, Big Joey, and I am joined by, you guys know him as Big Keith.
Howdy, howdy.
And of course, we have is it Lucas or are we going with Luke? What are we doing?
I think, don't we already have a Big Luke? So I'll be Big
There.
Lucas. I'll go with
That's
that.
all right. Yeah, we don't want to have more than one person with one name in the Discord. That would go.
Yeah.
That would be Babylon.
Fight
We already
Literal
have too many
Babylon.
Davids, so that's enough.
There's way too many Davids.
Just a couple.
All right. Dive right in. I'm drinking a beer. I'm opening a new warehouse. It has been interesting because I'm doing still my job without talking to customers, but dealing with like people that are not customers is almost more stressful because like the electrician and the so yeah, I rushed home, cracked a beer, and jumped on this podcast. I pretty much made it by the skin of my penis. What are you guys drinking?
I didn't think you were going to say penis there. That was not the word I expected you to say there. So I was going to go with teeth, but I mean, okay.
You would.
Wegman's bubbly as always. Wegman's orange, that is. No, not fucking Wegman's bubbly. That's not the same thing. What do you got, Lucas?
I'm starting tonight. Brett, my Rochesterian here.
Oh yeah.
If you're from here, you know this is called there's a couple names. A Screamer is one of them. My father told me they used to call them the Green Death, but a Genesee Cream Ale from the Genesee Brewery that is right down the street from my house.
Ooh, fresh and local. I have my Strong and Silly shirt on today because it's a good shirt. It's how I feel lately. Strong and silly.
I got the Lift Hard, Live Easy 2 Jason Skull Mask shirt, rocking that tonight.
I'm doubled up. I've got the Lift Christmas shirt, which this is. I don't know. I feel like this is a deep cut. Like I don't even know how many of these that they put out. But I have it and I wear it, 4 times every year, pretty much. And then I also have my blue Jefferson deadlift shirt on underneath.
Oh, nice.
All right. Keith, you go ahead. You've got the general topics today. You've added more to it than I ever have.
We got a lot of stuff, which I won't try not to dabble on everything too long. But big thanks to Scott Dodds. He did a little unpaid and underrated anthem, as I think he labeled it. Threw that up on YouTube and shared it in the Discord and Instagram, and it was basically celebrating our podcast and our achievement of whatever 75 plus episodes. And I'm assuming he did an AI song, but he had to put a lot of input into it because it wasn't an AI song that I don't think there was like repeated lyrics, and if there were, like it was minimal. Like there wasn't like a melody that kept coming around or anything. It was just like 3 minutes of just new people's names and a couple zingers at me and you that I really enjoyed. What was it? It was you can't say words and I think I'm funny, something to that extent. And I was just like, oh yeah, hey fuckers. So that was awesome. Appreciate you, Big Scott.
I just want to say thank you for not making it a country song.
I do like I will always consider.
There's just too many AI country songs, and like that was the first thing Morgan said. I was like, oh, you got to hear the new Unpaid and Underrated song, and she's like, is it country again? And I was like, actually no, it was.
I feel like the AI country songs are probably easier to do because there's so much feeding into it. I feel like the actual written ones are AI half the time.
Yeah, it all sounds the same nowadays, right?
It does all sound the same.
Our good friend Matthias went viral again, the old CPAPy, with his, I don't know, he was squatting 400 or 500 pounds. I don't even think it was a heavy set for him. It was a fucking more than I can fucking squat. And literally right as he's like unracked it, his fucking cat jumps on him, crawls up him, and just fucking digs in right in his pecs. And I'm like, and you can see like the I don't know, maybe I'm imagining it, but like I can envision like the nails just digging into his pecs and his face just going like motherfucker. But then he just dunks his squat just beautifully and then so just completed a squat with the cat on him. And I mean, his cats are always on him, but I've never seen it like kind of dig in like that, I'm sure unintentionally, but it was just like, it was fucking, 12 pounds of cat just hanging off his pecs as he's squatting. I'm like, oh, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Yeah, the cat jumped up and gave him a Three Stooges nipple twister. right in the middle of that heavy squat.
But I, his post had like a million views or something, or hundreds of thousands, and I've seen it get reshared and clipped and edited by several different other pages that just showed up in my feed. So that's always cool to see for him. And I've tried to go out of my way to like make a comment or tag him and everything. Especially if I hate it when people reshare your shit and don't tag the OG kind of person. So I always try to throw his name out there if anyone sees it.
Well, isn't that like the two things that go, well, not most viral, but have high likelihood? Cats and lifting heavy things.
Cats and lifting. So yeah, and he's had a few videos of like that combo and has really gone off. So and he's got I think they have what they say like they have multiple. They have like a half dozen cats, but I think only one is really like all over him in the gym. But that was fun to see. That was definitely the highlight of my Instagram viewing. And then we had what I would say the low light was Joey's former friend and idol, not really idol, but good old Canadian Mike Van Wyck. You've talked about Mike. I think you've said, I want someone to fact check. I think Joey said Mike Van Wyck more than I've said.
Yeah,
I don't know any other word, penis or cunt or whatever the fuck I say all the time.
No, there's no way.
I know,
that's not possible.
I know, but you have definitely, out of the 70 whatever episodes, you've said Mike Van Wyck at least 10 times.
Yep.
So obviously, that was a Greg Nepper, whatever the fuck his name is.
Jeff Nippard.
Yeah, that guy. There was obviously the back and forth there, and just the essential assault. I don't care if anyone that sells a video and calls it anything other than assault, like it's an assault. So fuck you, Mike. Douche move, and was glad to see you got kicked out of the gym and got charges pressed against you.
Yeah. It was interesting because at first, because I kind of was a fan of Mike. I've unfollowed him now because I actually didn't see that one video he did that he must have fell off my algorithm. So I finally had to unfollow the guy. But ultimately, yeah, the retaliation is way over the top. At the same time, the Discord knows I'm not Mike Van Wyck, right? Like you guys are aware of that, that I didn't do that. But on the other hand, I don't know who Jeff Nippard is.
I didn't either.
Okay. That guy is only famous in my head right now for getting punched out by Mike Van Wyck.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this is probably what's going to make me unpopular with a lot of people. The video that I watched that Jeff did in response to Mike, the only reason everybody's saying it was so nice and polite is because all his fans are saying it was. That video was full of subliminal disses. That video was just, he was nice in the video, but he said some shit to the 300-pound gorilla across the gym. And Mike has always said very plainly, if you say something to me, be prepared. He said it on Table Talk. He said it all so the level of retaliation was too high, but influencers getting influenced by another influencer ultimately gives a fuck. I genuinely don't care. I unfollowed Mike. I never followed Jeff. It was that easy for me.
Yeah, no, I can agree with a lot of that. I just, in general, I'm just not a fan of putting your hands on people in general. Like, he could have told him his mother was a fucking whore and you still can't put your hands on someone. Like,
oh no, absolutely. I don't, but at the same time, you get these kids that do pranks in malls.
Oh God, no,
right?
those.
And one of those kids gets punched in the face, and you're like, "Yeah, that guy deserved it." But then, Jeff Nippard releases a video mocking a 300-pound gorilla, and he gets punched out, and we're all like, "Oh, that's the worst." So it's just influencers did influencer shit, and now, Mike's kicked out, so he's cooked. He'll find another gym somewhere.
Well, yeah, it'll be the prison cell. Well, no, I'm sure he'll pay a small fine and maybe get some fucking community service. He's not gonna. Oh, I don't know. Is Canada actually more harsh on? Because he is Canadian, but was this in Canada?
Yeah, it happened at Pure Muscle.
Oh, I don't know what that.
So, so Pure Muscle is the gym. Gyms. Pure Muscle is the famous gym. It's where Jeff and Mike work out, and I was at the other warehouse. I was at the other warehouse, and there was a lady walking by in a Olympia shirt. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, "You go to Pure Muscle? Were you there?" I was just pulling them aside. I was like, "Do you know how's everything down there?" And she's just like, "It's bad. It's bad down there right now." So
is that Toronto area, Joey?
Yeah,
you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's actually Mississauga. So my old warehouse, it was about 40 minutes away from the warehouse I worked at.
Okay, yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, so I kind of know that side of the border. And my brother lives over there now, so
yeah. Pure Muscle's it's in between Oakville and Mississauga. I've been there once.
Nice.
The whole thing seemed kind of silly to me, and not in the fun, silly goose way.
No,
just I don't know. Yeah, seemed. I know who Jeff is mostly because I like followed like Eric Helms and like Knuckles and those guys, and he's kind of in that sphere somewhat. But it's I don't know. People seem to like Jeff Nippard, but he's very much like that natty bodybuilding like scene, and he's like 5'3", I think. So,
5'3", 160 pounds. Good at what he does. But like I've said it to Keith, I don't care how morally correct you are. The punch in the face is going to hurt, so you should be careful what you say.
I punched myself in the face with a fucking box at work today, and it hurt like a son of a bitch. Just taking it right in the fucking nose. It hurts.
You Mike Van Wicked yourself, right?
Yeah, basically.
Now I've cooked myself. Now everybody's going to come after me and be like, "You don't like Jeff Nippard?"
I don't fucking know who Jeff Nippard is, but
never heard of him.
So speaking of what we do know about was Massonomics and the Massonomics drops that we get every now and then, and there was a big one today, a 4-item drop. They had 2 pairs of the new style shorts with the Massonomics Lifting Department logo, one in green and one in blue. A new big and bulky shirt, I think. That's they called it the sand print or whatever, with the Massonomics across but between the nipples, and a khaki tan hoodie. That the hoodie cracked me up because it's just got the Massonomics logo on the breast, the smaller one, and then it's got Massonomics apparel, something or other, brought since, or it's either established or since forever. Whatever the term is, or however they like worded it. It's just like we've been here forever, and it just made me chuckle. So anybody just check any of that out and put anything on the wish list yet, or add it to the cart?
I did see the post from Tanner just before getting on in the Discord and looked, and I pretty much want to buy everything except for the t-shirt. So that's fun. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy because I missed the squat shorts because I wasn't at Lift Hard Live Easy, so I didn't get them.
How dare you?
Well, by the time I knew I could buy them, they were sold out my size. What do you want me to do?
No. I know. I was busting your chops for not coming out.
Well,
you could have had a whole Rochester contingent. What's that word?
I'll have to hide in your suitcase next time, Keith. You can put me in there, and I can just like wrap myself in your lifting gear. Sure,
I could probably fit Jeff Nippard out there, but I don't know about you, Lucas.
I was thinking the same thing.
Thanks.
Well, now don't say anything because he's going to come throat punch you now.
I mean, I wonder if Mike got so. I wonder if Van Wyck actually got more followers or lost a ton of followers, because there's so many people that are like, oh yeah, fuck that guy, punch him in the face, ha ha ha. So they're gonna follow Mike because they're just like that, like just really goofy fucking, just I don't know, your typical bro that thinks that that's okay to do, I guess. Versus like how many people that already followed Mike did unfollow him. Like I don't know. Yeah. I'm curious if it actually helped him.
I don't know. I unfollowed him because he posted some pretty. I didn't even see it. It was the one actually that Power Dwyer talked about. And
I saw. Oh yeah, I did see.
Yeah, and I was like, shit, I didn't see that video. And while I understand the context, that's still that wasn't great. So no, I'm not burning my shirts or sweaters, but I'm not giving them any more money. Like that's. But either way,
you're not going to be like Brian Shaw when he took down his picture of Arnold after Arnold said whatever he did a couple years ago.
No, because I think that's also equally man baby shit. Like he's already got your money. Like it doesn't matter. Take it down, put it away, whatever. But like this isn't an airport. You don't have to fucking announce your departure. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Tanner,
our big Kahuna. He looks like he went under the knife today. I didn't get to listen to the live, but I DM'd a handful of people because I'm assuming he broke the news either last night or the night before, whenever the live was, that he, once again tore his ACL and was going under the knife. But it sounded like he tore it a few weeks ago, playing basketball, and then just was, keeping it playing his cards close to his vest or to his chest, that is, and so. I didn't really get the story, but I reached out and got some info from Scance and Colton. They kind of gave me the rundown that It didn't seem like it was noon ball. It sounded like he was just, backpedaling in the backyard, possibly, or a pickup game. Not really sure. Kind of fell over, knew that he tore it immediately just from the pain that he felt from when he tore it, a decade ago or so, whatever it was, probably 8 years ago, I think. Went in, got some imaging. It was torn. I think someone even said that they were debating not doing surgery just because it could just heal on its own, but they know how, much of an athlete and, a lifter Tanner is, and that if he gets it actually, surgically repaired, he's a better chance of making some kind of recovery for lifting weights again. So it looks like he posted the picture himself today, and, then he went under the knife, and, hopefully he can, I did see he had, there won't be something for him to jump into this July, I guess. It did sound like any plans he had for the Lift Hard Live Easy 3, and unless he does a Larson bench press, probably is going to be off the table. But yeah, that sucks to hear. I think I kind of I don't think I did make a meme about it before I kind of heard the severity, so I almost felt bad, but it was still a pretty funny meme, so I'm gonna let it ride. But that just sucks, man. You never wish that kind of shit on anybody. So especially someone that, as good as a soul as Tanner is. So it was a kick in the teeth when I actually saw the whole story.
So Jake, if you're listening, I know you had some questions about a possible surprise strongman event next year. It's going to be running backwards on the basketball court.
Was it the same ACL he tore last time, or was it the other one?
Okay. I don't know. I got a lot of questions, but I wasn't going to bug the guy on the fucking day it got cut, because I'd like to know that. I'd like to know if it was the same leg that he blew his fucking dislocated his ankle on, because I bet it is. Well, it could go either way, because he's always been walking and he's been getting over a dislocated ankle. So which fucking knee is going to be in badder shape? The one that's
badder shape.
Worse fucking shape.
Wrong again, Keith.
Yeah, we got to add that.
Wrong again, Keith.
Or you know what I mean? Like when you have a bad knee or an ankle or something, the other leg is compensating, so you're putting a lot of pressure on the other leg as well. So I'm curious. Oh yeah, I'd like to actually deep dive that with him someday. But
yes, there's nothing Tanner would love more than to have a deep medical conversation.
Fuck off, not deep dive. That's just literally it's a fucking 3. He'll fucking respond to the unpaid.
You're gonna do a prostate exam too? Like, what do you?
Yeah, now I'm not a pro. I thought I was a catheter fucking king. Now I'm the fucking prostate guy. Fuck off. You kid.
I'm so tired.
All right. You weren't tired enough to fucking connive behind my back and get a fucking nice little GIF just for me. I want to hear that story.
GIF. Yeah. So I had actually originally asked Huck to do it, just to make all things equal, and he just doesn't have time. We were going back and forth, and I would remind him, and then he would say, "Okay, I forgot. I'll do it today," and then he didn't. And then I was just like, well, hold on. Who is A, influential in our lives, and B, almost the opposite of Huck Finn?
Yeah.
So I was like, Tanner, could you do this? And he did it for me. And it was just perfect. And I've been sitting on it for a few days now, and it's just a video of Tanner doing the Huck Finn thing, going, wrong again, Keith. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and make that a GIF. Yeah. And I hope one of the Davids makes that a bot.
That was making me chuckle.
You thought Tanner posted it. I was because it was me.
I did. That's because I sent it to our group chat going look what this asshole did.
Yep.
But that was great. So it was well done. Is there an audio version of it? Because the one I saw didn't have audio. So
that one did have the first one I posted had audio.
Oh, I have to maybe sometimes my phone's been weird lately. Like a video will be playing and it won't be giving me the audio, but it's not muted. So I need a technical guy to help me figure that one out. But what I don't remember is who the fuck was last week's guest that we have to rate the episode for right now. I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
It was the title topic.
The Kabuki. They just shut this shit. Yeah. Listening to Tanner basically, retell that whole story.
Yeah, and tell us a podcast in his own words.
Yeah. But then they did get to something towards the end that they initially thought was going to be the title topic, but then the Kabuki.
It was Tommy's lat
pull down. Yeah, and I actually was very that was a good story. I enjoyed the lat pull down story, and I really liked how Tanner always gets it in. I was like, we got to kick the listeners off. We gotta save this juicy stuff so they have something to tune in for. And it was just Tommy continued. Another 15 minutes of talking about the lat pull down, and I was like, nice, because I've been with the work has been super crazy in my life, so I haven't consumed a live recording in a good few weeks. So it's always pretty much been the Sunday night or heading out to work on Monday. So I was able to, listen to the whole thing. So for all that, we will go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 functional ACLs.
That was good. Now, Lucas, what do you got?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So I'm part of the crew that listens to podcasts while they lift. So my Monday
Ugh.
morning lifting sessions are I always am looking forward to starting the podcast, and then usually my Wednesday training day I finish it. So I sort of put myself in suspense because I think when he kicked the listeners off, that's about when I finished on Monday. So the Kabuki stuff was interesting. That whole thing just seems weird still. Like even with the more details, like what were Rudy and Duffin doing there for a while? Like just taking a bunch of money from people and not like doing anything. So that's just interesting to that whole thing. But so with that said, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Let's see, my got to think of my least favorite Kabuki thing. 5 out of 5 Kabuki Transformer bars.
Fucking hate that bar. Good call.
Did you have one for a while, Keith?
I borrowed Justin's for like
okay.
6 weeks or something, but he had the older one, but it's still the same, like, geometry on it ish. And I just, I know the new ones are easier and they might have slightly different cambers and all that, but give me my SSB. Like, I just want my regular SSB. I'm too OCD to have 19 different options because then I'd have to fucking have a spreadsheet for every single one. And that's not good for my, psyche.
I thought about getting one just because of my limited space in my garage gym, but also like the Elite FTS SSB on sale for like $300.
Yeah, that's the best.
3 times a year versus $900 for a transformer bar was like, okay, that's fine. I don't need
it's a smart move.
I don't need a goblet squat setting or a front squat setting or anything. I can just do that with other bars.
And if it actually did, like, if it actually got in the exact, like, Mars bar kind of configuration and actually gave you a real low bar feeling, I gave it an honest try of like, all right, will this give me a low bar kind of feel? Like, not fucking really at all. So if it did what it said it would, or if I could have figured out how to make it do what it said it did, like, maybe I would have given it a better shot, but it wasn't for me.
Well, The Rock uses the transformer bar, so.
Well, he also does more fucking steroids than any human on the planet, so I don't.
Not if you ask him.
He's 100% natty.
Of course he is.
Just like every WWE superstar ever. Even probably some of the fat ones. Although I don't know, I feel like Taker probably never did much gear if he did any.
Maybe when he was American Badass.
I'll take a steroid test when Triple H does. Scott Steiner. Nice. Yeah, so like I don't have anything Kabuki. I've lifted on Kabuki bars in every meet I've been in. I don't have a really big understanding of what it is or why I care. My guess would be very little venture capital, very little seed money. So that thing where like you would do an order and have to wait 6 months is because I think it's exactly what Tommy or Tanner said. It's that like they just don't have it and they need the pre-order money to get it made.
Absolutely.
And when you're doing something like that, when you don't have inventory to sell and you're literally selling based on an order-based business, you don't get the quantity discounts, you don't get all those, right? So if you're ordering 10 at a time, you're not getting the same price as if you ordered 100. So I think that was majorly the problem. So, but again, I don't have any actual knowledge other than what they said. The lat pull down story was really good, especially because like my joke is you guys are doing lat pull downs. Like I don't, I'm using bands. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that one 5 out of 5 lat pull down bands.
I feel like Tommy's fallen ass backwards into most of his home gym stuff too.
Yeah, he's got a great
for the
deal on everything.
The guy who didn't want a home gym and was like pretty adamant about it. Just I'm gonna look on Facebook Marketplace today for the first time in forever and finds a unicorn piece of equipment.
So if I find like a $2,000 lat pull down for $300 and spend $100 to go get it, and
it's it's just worth going back to when he first built the gym, and he said, "I think I have everything I need now."
Yeah, well,
And Tanner went, "Oh, you're there, are you?" Yeah. Now
Never
you
true.
can finally get strong. Yeah. Now he can finally get strong with his lat pull down. I'm doing the backlog. I'm going through it. I just got to the Arnold first episode. Oh, actually, I'm halfway through the Dan Bell episode. Because
is that the year where the old guy says, "Get the fuck out of my way," or something to that extent? Because they're like there was, basically all that. Okay, so that might have been
not
year
yet.
2 or
I'm
something.
only on episode 1 of the Arnold recap.
Okay, maybe
Then the
up.
Dan Bell episode in which he's breathing like Dan Bell into the microphone
Yeah,
the whole time.
yeah.
And that's the fun thing is everybody was like, "You're not going to get through this backlog." Well, I'm doing 6 hours alone in an uninhabited warehouse unpacking stuff. So I'm doing like 2 to 3 episodes a day right now.
There you go. I remember that.
So I am powering through it. Quick update today on
what's your speed? I
it's
know you
2x
talked
for
about
sure. It's 2x.
That's not consumable for me at that rate.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to I listen to Massonomics at 1.5.
I feel like so that'll kind of segue, and this is one thing I was going to bring up, but we were kind of going late, but I'll bring it up now. So you don't hear what their voices actually sound like, kind of. So that's just
because I've literally met Tanner Tommy.
I know, I get it, but so
and Dan.
That's just it, yeah, I know. It's just So here's a question I can pose to you as someone do you listen to the couple times you listen to our podcast? Have you ever listened to it on 1.0?
No, that one I have to do 1.0 because my own voice.
So with that now that I've done, I've done however many fucking 100 podcasts between this one and other shit. Does the sound of your own voice? So before I ever did a podcast, say like 3-4 years ago, whatever. Obviously, when you do hear your voice randomly, like on a voicemail or something, or in the background of a video, you're like, "That's not my fucking voice. There's no way that's my voice," because the pitch is so not what you hear in your head.
Nope.
Now, after being on a podcast for a year and a half, I think I hear what my actual voice is in my head now, or my brain transfers it to what it sounds like. Does any of that make sense? Like I'm not verbalizing it the way I want to be, but
I think I know what you're getting at, but I'm not a big neuroscience guy over here, so I don't really know how that tracks.
Basically, since being on this podcast, I'm okay hearing my voice, and I don't feel like it's not my voice anymore. Whereas 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd be like, "That's not my voice," and I'd get really freaked out. Not freaked out, but I would make that. I think everyone says that anytime someone hears their voice for one of the first couple times, and I don't know. That was I don't remember what. But it's because I think Stephanie she didn't want to listen to it because she doesn't like the sound of her voice because she doesn't. The voice in her head isn't what is actually her voice. So that made me start to think "Oh, do I still feel that way?" And I was like, "I don't. I think
nope. I actually can't listen to this one at 1.5. I can't hear my own or your voice at that speed.
That would be.
But
goofy.
in all fairness, listening to Tanner and Tommy and Tyler from 8 years ago, or whatever it was, 2016, 2017, or whatever year it was that they were doing this. Really, the only thing is I can't tell if it's Tommy or Ryan laughing. That's the main difference, I think, between the two acts. I'm still getting most of it, and not in all fairness, most of Massonomics lore by now started at 240 anyway, roughly the 240 episodes. So I'm not really getting a ton from back then, other than I don't give a shit about CrossFit at all.
That's what I was gonna say. You're learning so much about CrossFit, though, Joey.
Oh, I am.
That you didn't know before. So now, but CrossFit from 8 years ago or whenever?
Yeah.
Which actually, Jonathan from No Fate, he's got an Instagram and a YouTube. He hit a video the other day basically talking about the decline of CrossFit, and it basically showed a graph of how many times they've been Googled that month or whatever, or a year, and it, they peaked in 2014, 2015 kind of range when fucking Tyler wouldn't shut the fuck up about CrossFit, and then it kind of makes more sense, I guess, that I was just getting into a commercial gym at that point, so I wasn't in a barbell mindset, so I didn't know fuck all, but I'm curious, I guess, if was CrossFit really as big as I guess they gave it more attention because it really was that big back then. If you look at graphs and charts and shit, at least. So
CrossFit gyms were like the frozen yogurts of Aberdeen. They just popped up everywhere and then went away. And like I said in the Discord, everything I've ever learned about CrossFit has been by accident. And the backlog I can blame the backlog on all of that. Last one, I had a quick story about my training session today.
Let's do it.
Because it's a really, to me, fun story. Got up, tired, little hungover because I've had 2 deaths very close to me in the past little while. Whatever. I just woke up exhausted. and it was an RPE 10 squat. And I'll tell you, I did.
Day to do that.
Yeah, why not? Right. So I did actually 7 warm up reps. I didn't do anything else, and it turned into a 9.
Nice. I
So,
like the
yeah.
weight, the prescribed weight that was supposed to be a 10.
Yep. So I'm actually
Awesome.
fully
Well
on the no warm up crew. Let's go,
Right
Sam.
Right there, Sam. Yeah.
But that was I felt really good about that, and I just busted them out, and then I was like, that was too easy.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, Juggernaut has you do like 25 warm up reps or something stupid. And it's just
so I've never used Jug AI. Does it like give you from like the bar like all the way through? It gives you literally everything you're supposed to do for warm ups. Okay.
Yeah, it never used to. And the really funny thing about it is when I first joined Juggernaut, literally had no clue how to work out. So I joined Juggernaut, and then it was like, okay, your top set was, let's just make it up, 315 deadlifts. And I'm like, okay. And I would start cold at the top set, and then wonder why I was like,
this was hard.
Yeah, it was a little hard. And then they introduced the warm-up thing, but the warm-up thing's like 10 reps of the bar, 5 reps of one plate. Then they're going to put a quarter plate on. Then they're going to put on 225, and then they're going to put on another quarter plate. And I was like, by the time I hit my top set, I've done 20 to 25 reps. This is also making me tired.
Yeah.
Because my conditioning is shit. Like, I don't do cardio because I just don't have room in the gym. Unless I go run around the land, I don't have room to do cardio unless I'm like literally running on the spot in the gym like a weirdo. So
the sand dune steppers, I think that's actually a thing. Like
I've got an elliptical, and I could just do like sandbag carries or something back and forth, which I do some days anyway. But so now I'm back to the no warm up club.
You got to just sprint with your child on your back, like I had to do the other day, Joey. That's what my coach told me to do. He told me to recreate Empire Strikes Back, so I did it. It took a minute to convince the 5-year-old to do it, but then he was totally fine when we did it. So yeah, that's your cardio.
Yeah,
sprint with your children.
All right, I think it's that was the longest general topics I think we ever had.
Yeah, and I probably should have talked about my competition this Saturday, but it's all good. I didn't even think about that.
We'll do a whole recap episode.
There we go. That
after somebody else does a recap episode, we'll recap a recap episode.
Joey doesn't like recap episodes, or so listeners, if you want a recap episode from the December to Remember Crew Falls week, I've already got someone scheduled that week. But if it's something you really want, blow up the Instagram, blow up the Discord. We can make that happen. But right now, I'm not moving the guests unless the fans tell us is what they want.
I'm sure we'll get one from Tanner and Tommy.
One person. Oh yeah, I know. Well, I'm one person will DM us and say fuck off, and it'll be you.
I think you should do a meet recap on the episode next week, Keith.
I'll do a 10-minute thing in general topics or 5-minute thing, but yeah, no, my body's falling apart, and we'll see how I manage this weekend.
You're gonna do great.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take videos of you and Dan now, and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram.
Love it.
While I'm in the middle of loading weights for you guys.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Do a crew cameo on my Instagram.
Nice. Oh, Chris jumped in it too. If you didn't see the roster.
Oh yeah. Well, he's trying to give his spot away quite hard right now.
That fucking pussy.
He's complaining about being in the bad part of New Jersey, which I thought was just all of it, but whatever.
I want to do this meet, but I'm not going there.
I think he texted me he got home today, I thought, so hopefully all is well. But all right, yeah. Did we have any listeners we got to kick out so we can get the guest on the? Well, actually, no. I jumped the gun there. Lucas, do you have an ad read for us, buddy? Do you got anything you want to say about Tanner and Tommy and Massonomics?
I do. This episode of Unpaid and Underrated is sponsored by Massonomics. Do you like crispy boys or sparkling water, powerlifting or strongman, lifting hard or living easy? With Massonomics, you don't have to choose. With everything going on lately, it's good to know you can join 2 Submasters dads from Western Northeast South Dakota for Silly Goose Time every week for the last 446 weeks. And if you don't want to limit your Silly Goose Time to 2 hours a week, join the Massonomics Discord crew where the fun is 24/7. Massonomics also has a variety of coverings for your body and your home gym walls. So come on by and learn how to get strong, stay strong, and use your strength with Massonomics.
Dig it. Well done. Appreciate that. Well, now we can say the thing where we kick everybody out.
Yeah.
We get the guest and
kick out Carp. It's always Carp. Yeah. Nope, it's one of the Ryans this time.
It's Ryan.
Ooh, one of the Ryans.
Bye, Ryan.
All right. Big Lucas, is that you?
It is. I'm here.
You are
Well,
live on Unpaid and Underrated, the podcast for crew by crew and mocked relentlessly by the Davids.
and the co-host.
And is that you or me?
Yes.
That was the right answer, Keith.
Yeah, we are. Yep. All right. First question: what brings you here? And you can't say Keith.
I started listening to a podcast, 4 years ago, and then decided to give them money, and then made more friends on the internet, and now I'm here on a podcast for the first time.
Well, welcome.
I love it.
Doing great so far, if I had to say so myself. Keith, do you want to lead this for a second?
Yeah. So in general, you listened to Massnomics, back in the day, 4 years ago. So COVID times, I'm guessing you jumped in on it.
I did my research and I looked and I found out the first episode I listened to, it was I think it was Julius Maddox. So It was I looked to find like in my Spotify, which was where I was at, but I didn't look at the date. But I'm pretty sure it was during COVID because I was during COVID, I was home because everybody was home.
Yep.
And I was running Average to Savage from Greg Knuckles, and I think I was training 5 days a week, maybe. So I had a lot of time to listen to podcasts, and one of the main reasons I listen to podcasts while I lift now is because at that time I was training in the garage, and we had Elliot was our youngest son. He wasn't even one yet, and he was sleeping directly above me most of the time because I would train in the morning. So you can't listen to music while a baby's sleeping above you. So podcasts aren't that loud. So I was just needing to find more podcasts to listen to. And what's better for lifting than listening to podcasts about lifting while lifting?
I mean, yeah, and then you get a few episodes deep and you realize it's really not a podcast about lifting. It's a podcast about friends and homies that occasionally interview people that lift, but don't ask them about lifting questions. So that's
just being silly geese.
And it's just the best because especially I know the group of friends that you have, and it's just other than me and Chris, I don't think anybody has ever listened to the podcast. I think everyone follows them and gets a kick out of some of the memes, but only the gin pop memes. Then they have no clue. I don't think
they don't know the deep cuts.
I think they still judge they look at Chris and I and they're like, you went out to South Dakota for an amateur non-sanctioned strongman show? Are you fucking stupid? You spent how much money? They just don't get it. So I'm glad that we found a handful of Rochester boys that kind of get it.
So we've got our nice Western New York crew between Rochester and Buffalo.
We do have 2 Buffaloes now and a Syracuse even. So we're filling up. Where are they going to find you at on the IG? You want
Lucas likes to lift things.
Nice.
Say that 10 times fast.
Lucas likes to lift things. I think it's the same one, some iteration of that on Discord as well.
Yes, I made it the same because I'm super creative and didn't know how to really do things when I joined the Discord.
As anyone that likes to tag people and stuff, it's super convenient when shit is the same on one platform as it is the other. Let's see. So have you consumed the whole backlog then? Did you ever go back and you didn't go back in time? You just kind of went from Maddox to now?
Yeah, there's a handful of podcasts I listen to that I have done a little bit of backlog on, but I'm pretty much if I pick something up, I'm going to start from there. And as I was saying earlier, I have a limited set of podcast time during the week, and it's mostly full right now. So unless I do a road trip and crush something out, I remember when I had to go to Strongman Nationals in New Hampshire a few years ago, I listened to all of Nick Canby. He's a middleweight. Well, he was a middleweight strongman. Now he's open. But I listened to all of his podcasts that weekend because I had 13 hours in the car. So I haven't done any road trips like that lately where I can just crush podcasts. So, yeah.
Well, next time Joey comes down to Rochester and you come over, I'll just have him go over the backlog with you, episode by episode in detail, and give you a blow by blow.
So then I can check that off on my
Which,
Hall of Fame card then.
Yep,
So
which is my next question. So do you know off the top of your head or where you're at on the Hall of Fame and what this gets you being on tonight's episode?
I'm a very detail oriented person.
Yes, sir.
So I brought it here. So this is actually I believe 7. And the thing is I looked at it, I circled place 10 online orders. I'm guessing I've placed 10 orders, but
I'd
I'm not
imagine.
entirely sure at this point. So but
that's
yes.
kind of a gimme for most people, and unless you're Grayson and only had like 7 or 8, even though he's been part of Massonomics for like a decade. So I got a kick out of that. No, that's awesome. So we'll get you in the Hall of Fame here before too long.
I just need to go to Lift Hard Lift Easy. That's all I need to do.
That knocks off so many. Yeah.
I just spend like $1,500 to get a silly point in internet points.
I wish it only cost that much. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, when I hide in your suitcase next time, when I shrink to Jeff Nippard's size and hide in your suitcase, then I'll just give you $1,500, and then we'll be good.
Well, if you had to be in that suitcase with one piece of Massonomics merch that you had missed out on, what would that be?
It'd be those squat shorts. Yeah, I really like. I feel like everything else I pretty much had a chance to get over the last 4 years that I would want. That and or I would say the blue lift shirt that may or may not have sprung back up recently since it's been banned. But
yeah, you can go to. I mean, your best chance of getting that, it would be I'm assuming you haven't gone to the Arnold then in the last 4 or 5 years.
That's the other thing, which I might try to check that one off this year, because we've got a handful of our lifting crew competing at World's Strongest Firefighter. So
dope.
I'm depending on what's going on, with everything that's going on. See if I can make it down there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm like an 80% chance going to go down, so that'd be cool. Get a whole Rochester crew. Well, you want to do a least fun? You want to answer a little least fun, most fun for us?
Sure.
So it's a relatively new game for any of Lucas's thousands and thousands of friends and followers tuning in to Unpaid and Underrated this week for the first time. So least fun, most fun. It's a game we came up with here. So I'm gonna give Lucas one topic, and he's just gonna go into some druther details and tell me the least fun thing about it and the most fun thing about it. So, Big Lucas, handpicked topic for you this week: living in Western New York. Least fun, most fun.
Let's see. The least fun part of living in Western New York, probably no one fucking knowing where we are who doesn't live here. You tell them you live in New York and they think you like live near New York City, and it's like, bro, we're pretty much Canada. Like,
New York City is just its own thing.
Yeah. The most fun, I don't know. I think, man, I don't know. A lot of people like to complain about New York, but we have some pretty cool stuff. Like, I like to hike and camp and shit like that. So we got the Adirondacks close. Like, we've got a lot of cool stuff here. I don't know. I'd say it's better than if you go on the internet and listen to people complain about it. I think it's way better than all the dumb shit they say. It's just annoying that people don't. I don't know. No one looks at a map. I feel like people never learn their geography well, so they don't understand it. So least fun, people not understanding New York's like very big.
It's
very
a
different.
Large fucking state.
Yeah, most fun. It's it's a cool place. We got 4 seasons.
We do.
We've got the Buffalo Bills. That's fun now. That was actually probably the least fun part of being from Western New York for 17 years. Was having to be a fan of them.
So was it hard to watch you lose? Was losing 4 Super Bowls in a row the hard part, or was because that was you're my age, right? You're a couple years
older. Yes. So
you lived through that.
This is a vivid memory of mine. I was in kindergarten when we lost the first one.
Yeah.
So I remember going to school, and I'm probably making this up somewhat, but it can't be I can't have completely fabricated. But I remember going to kindergarten the day after we lost the first Super Bowl, and everyone just being sad and it being a big deal, because I didn't stay up and watch the game. I was 5,
Yeah.
And then the next year because I had the Vanilla Ice haircut at that time, because who didn't? Because that's what we did in the early 90s. But I got the Bills logo shaved into the side of my head.
Nice.
for the second Super Bowl. And then after that, we were kind of like, well, we're just going to get our asses kicked. So that was fun, but then it was like terrible, like post Doug Flutie, it was just bad.
Yeah,
JP Lossman,
yeah.
EJ Manuel.
I've lived here since '08, and like I could name so many bad Bills quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Over that threshold there, or that time period.
Really, the real Super Bowl is the friends that we made along the way.
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, getting to 4 Super Bowls in a row is pretty
awesome.
It's unprecedented,
right?
Yeah.
Like whether you win or lose, you got to 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah,
my brother's a huge like Bills Mafia, so that stuff's always on my radar.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's weird. It's I feel it's very cyclical is not the right word, but synchronicity sort of thing is that when our oldest son Porter like started recognizing football and being into it was like the first season that Josh Allen was really good. And it's like that's kind of when I recognized football was when we went to like that first Super Bowl. So it's like this weird, like, oh, the Bills got good at the same time in both our lives. And like, I feel bad that he's going to have like, hopefully several more years, 5 to 10 more years of really good teams because Josh Allen will be our quarterback. And then he'll have to deal with whatever happens after that. And I'll just be apologizing to him. Like, I'm sorry I did this to you if we get shitty again. Like if we're in your situation right now, Pete, although your situation's like the worst. I got to ask you this question. Yep. How do you feel about the fans cheering Watson's Achilles blowing up?
I made me trouble.
Okay.
I was not upset about it.
And then Myles Garrett, like people trying to defend him, the other players defending him afterwards was just silly. Like the guy's a shithead. Like
I hope Watson never gets to like. I'm pretty sure next year is his last year on a contract. He blew out his fucking knee in the middle of the season. The most he would do is come back and play a few games next year. At that point, just don't even let him into the fucking building ever again. He's just done. Like, give him his fucking obnoxious $250 million guaranteed money and just fucking show him the door. Like, I don't know what, like, we're going to have to draft a quarterback now with a first round pick, I hope. If not, what are we going to do out there with fucking, I don't know.
Jameis, man. Jameis is good to you guys with Thomas Lamb.
Tom Brady could always come out of retirement for you guys.
No, he's going to play for the Raiders. He's going to be owner player.
At the end of the day, I've been a Browns fan since they came back in '99, and I've watched them from '99 to fucking present. We've made it to the playoffs fucking like once in that twice now, but it's been in the last like 4 years. So like I'm as up until like because we made it I think in 2020. I'm pretty sure we made the playoffs. But prior to that, my life goal was always to just say I just want to watch on TV the Browns win one playoff game before I die, and I've done that like twice now. So everything else is gravy at this point, because I set the bar so low. It's just win one playoff game in a fucking like a 60-year span of watching a team play football, and I'll be content with that. So, they can't get it can't get worse than the shit we lived through in the 2000s, early 2000s. So whatever. But yeah, good. Enjoy having Josh. Enjoy having Josh.
Lake Erie Bros for life. Cleveland, Detroit, Buffalo.
Yes, sir. You get Josh Allen for another decade, and hopefully you can make a couple more playoff runs.
Okay, so I want to ask now, the drum kit behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Yours?
It's my drummer's. I'm not a drummer. I'm not. All my instruments are
the guitars.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a band. What do you guys do?
So this is probably going to be, I feel like this is weird for someone who's really into lifting, but we're a jam band for lack of a better term. So like, not as noodly as like Fish or the Grateful Dead, but like still like to play 15-minute songs when we feel like it. So,
okay.
Yeah, but hopefully it's not boring. It's not boring to me generally, but sometimes it could be boring to other people, I'm sure.
Unless you're gigging. Are you gigging with the jam band sound?
It used to not as much anymore. Like, everybody had kids and then COVID happened. So I haven't played a show since probably 2018, maybe 2019. But yeah. So, it's one, you guys know we're getting old and you've got kids, Joey. Like you have hobbies that you like to do in your 20s and maybe some of your 30s, and they kind of like you can only make time for so many hobbies. So, it's on the to-do list though. The to-do list that's very long of things that I want to spend my my very limited free time on. That I'll start playing some instruments again.
Things I used to like doing. Yep.
Yeah. Although I do get lucky. I used to work at a school, and I made friends with the music teacher there, and they do like a school rock thing every year where like we play a bunch of cover songs with the kids. So he always needs a guitar player for that. So he calls me and I have to learn like, a dozen cover songs in 2 weeks and then get to play them with pretty talented high school kids. So it's fun. It's a good time. Some of the songs are like, really, I got to play this song this year. And then some are like, oh, I've always wanted to play this song and I get to do it. Like this year, the finale song, we played Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. And I'm like
awesome.
Huge, like that album is like, if you were to like go to someone like on you go to a different planet and you want to be like, this is a perfect rock and roll album. You give them Born to Run. And that's like my favorite song. I joke with people that if it comes on the radio, you have to put all your windows down and play it as loud as humanly possible. It's a law. Probably in New Jersey, I would think that would be a law. It should be if it's not a law in New Jersey. But so that was fun to get to play that song finally. And I like learned when I learned it, I'm like, they did a modulation to a different key in the one part of the song. I'm like, oh, I never realized that. And I've listened to the song literally, anyone who's listened to classic rock radios listened to that song probably hundreds of times. So it's like, neat. Okay,
so that's most fun. Least fun song you've had to learn for this little good cover band thing. And is it Imagine Dragons?
Oh, thank God I've never had to learn any Imagine Dragons.
They suck so bad.
I'm trying to think of some of the bad things I've had to learn. This might get me in trouble. This might get me in trouble with some people, but I feel like I've had to learn a Linkin Park song, which it was actually kind of fun to play, but like there's just something about Linkin Park, especially like I don't know. Well, Keith, you've never really trained at East Ave Barbell that much, but we had like an old CrossFit coach who used to be there, and like because of the hours that I train, I would like show up when he was there like coaching. And I swear to God, he had this one playlist. I was there one day. It was just Linkin Park and Eminem. And I was like, please stab me in the eye right now. Like, this is so, and it's like not even like the good songs. Like, it's just the like shit that I've already heard too many times. So it was probably maybe that. It's usually not the, like most of the songs are fine to learn. And it's more fun like if the kids are good and having fun. Like one year we did what was that? Like Justin Timberlake's first solo hit that the Neptunes produced. Come on, dance with me. Rock
Your Body.
Yeah, Rock Your Body. So we did that, and I'm like, oh, this song fucking is great. I love the Neptunes. I love Justin Timberlake. This is gonna be so much fun. Like it's funky as shit. The kid who was singing it, like, got so lost in the middle of the song and just was like looking at us, and I'm like, bro, like just this is on you, man. Yeah, like we're here, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Like you gotta sing your shit, man. And it was just like, I think he kind of didn't know what to do, so I just looked at the rest of it, and I think the music teacher was playing drums, and I'm like, and we just kind of like cut it and stopped, and he like ran off stage. It's bad. Like I feel bad for a high school kid, but it's like, bro, like be prepared. Like we rehearsed this shit. Like you got to know your stuff. You got to learn one song that's like 3 minutes long. It's not that hard. But yeah, so that was probably the least fun one we did, because it was just like it was a good song and they fucked it up.
He's not listening.
Yeah,
no. Can't imagine. That's funny. Unless I'm missing it, I don't think anyone said anything about you being in a band anywhere in their notes other than like the huge visual aspect of the band.
It literally says right here, he's a musician, guitar specifically, played a lot of shows in my early 20s.
I said maybe I didn't see it.
You didn't read mine
possibly
detailed.
I don't. A lot of times they might not get read till when I'm here.
Yeah, probably because I just I just did mine on Monday, so that's probably why, because you only had 2 days to prep. So sorry.
I did. I didn't know. You're good, buddy. You're good. I appreciate you. So your job got a few different answers for your career. You want to tell us what you do for a living if you're comfortable? Well, I think it's just different ways it was worded. I mean, it's probably so.
I wonder if my wife put my real job title in there because she's probably the only one who knows it.
We got health planning researcher, data analyst. So health planning researcher is one, a data analyst, and then another data analyst / spreadsheet and map nerd.
Map nerd.
Yeah. Oh, Joey, don't even get me started about maps. Yeah. So I work for okay. This is kind of a long, complicated answer that makes so much short. I have like a very weird history of how I've gotten to this current job that I'm in. So I've worked in healthcare for about a decade now. My first job in healthcare, I was an addictions counselor at the one of the major hospitals here in Rochester. And so I went back to school and got my master's then and realized I wanted to do stuff in the background because my undergrad was engineering. So I've got that engineer brain. So that's how I kind of got into what I do now, where my official job title is health planning. Oh, shit, I forgot it. I think it's health planning research analyst. I just say data analyst, and like whoever put that on my sheet, like I just do nerd shit, and I make graphs and I make maps. Like if I can turn data visualization into a map, I'm gonna do it because maps are sweet and it's cooler to see where things are happening to people. Generally bad things, unfortunately, is I make a lot of charts about bad shit. It's like, oh, this is the reasons why people are dying in our area, or these are the things that are making people sick and going to the hospital for. So, yeah, that's what I do now.
We need to utilize your skill set to help us make some content. We'll do some kind of map or some kind of graph, but half the battle is getting all that data first.
Yeah, we're not big map over here.
Hardy.
Well, we could do some stuff. We could make some things. We could do a crew map or something. We just need everybody to submit something and put it in the spreadsheet. That's all you got to do. Keith, I know you loved your spreadsheets.
I do.
He does love his spreadsheets.
I've got so many spreadsheets. It's frustrating sometimes too because I'm like I can't remember sometimes if I have this data in Google Docs or Google Sheets, and I'm like cycling back and forth like, where did I put this information? Because I can't remember.
It makes me so mad because I'm like, okay, I need the guest list to send to somebody. Oh no, it's in Sheets, it's not in Docs, and then I need something else, and it's in Docs. So
that's why you just go to Google Drive, and then you've got them all right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And
now, would this have all started? Would this have all started in Boy Scouts?
In Boy Scouts? What? Oh, my love maps. Oh shit. Oh, I know where this came from. Is this about the cartography award? I'm sure
it has to be.
So yes, this is my wife loves. She loves to make fun of me for this. Actually, my love of maps started way before that, and I don't know if she knows this story. Although I'd be surprised if she didn't. When I was like a kid, the way my mother kept me entertained in the car was by just giving me maps to look at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Telling us where we were, because it was the 80s. And like, that's how else are you going to entertain a child in a car?
Mm-hmm.
Give them something to look at. But yes. So when I was, the one time I went to Boy Scout camp, we had a contest where we had to do orienteering and map making at the same time. So we were like going on a hike, and we had to draw a map of the hike that we went. And so you had to like use the compass to see what way you were going so you could draw the path and such. So my buddy and I, who still friends to with this day, been friends with since first grade, we were like, well, shit, I'm bad with the compass. And he's like, I'm good with the compass. I'm like, well, I can draw and like maps. So you tell me what we're doing with the compass and I'll make the map. And everyone else was trying to do it by themselves. And we ended up making the best map and winning the cartography, which that is the official term for map making of you guys who don't know. So we won the I got like a special bolo thing, because as a Boy Scout, you've got your little bolo thing for your scarf. and I had my special. It was like I don't know, it was wood with like the map of the camp on it or something. So I had my little bolo tie of a map that I would wear to my Boy Scout meetings for like the one more year that I did it, and then I was like, yeah,
No, I'm
done with Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I have a very similar story. There's like I love looking at maps, and sometimes you look at people my age and I use the GPS to get to work every day, but mostly because it just tells me the traffic so I can avoid it. But like mapping is something I've always kind of been good at. Fun story, a couple years ago, they did, like, I'm talking maybe a decade ago, they did this thing on like how smart is Canada. So they did this like TV show on one of our what do you call it? Public television stations. And they actually did this like who's smart. So they sat in a room and they had like demographics. Okay. Like who's smarter, atheists, believers. I think they had like they just like separated people by whatever they were. But then you could do the same test they did. And I got like they did this thing where it's like, okay, so the camera would go down a road. Okay. And it would say, we're facing north. Follow us. I got like 100% on that shit.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it's just basic mapping. How do you not know that? How do you not? Your brain can obviously, if you just go over top and look at the directions they made. But then, of course, like the stuff where it's just like, what's the next one? When it was like blue, red, blue, blah, blah, blah. I was like 0%. I have no pattern recognition at all.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but in like, at least in Google Maps, and I'm sure probably in like Apple Maps, you can set your view of your map on your phone or your, in dash thing. So like, usually the default is to kind of like move the map as you move, right? As you're driving, but you can pin it. So up on the map is always true north. And then everything else is like that. And I found that setting one day and set it like that. And I have yet to meet another human being who does that. And I think it's just because I'm like a map kid and like I always want true north to be top, and like it makes perfect sense to my brain when I'm like looking at something. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where. Well, and especially where we live now, we live right on the lake, so it's like I have a giant thing that tells me where north is all the time that I orient off of. But Lake Ontario, for those who are not inclined to the Rochester geography.
Where I live,
I have some
the
of the
lake is always
in my
south
garage right now.
and the escarpment's always north.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, that's the way. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. You're around the corner. Finally.
No, I'm actually on the same side as you guys. The lake is north, and the escarpment is south. I'm on the same side as you guys. Getting to you guys is easier than getting anywhere else. But that's the same thing. The lake just tells me which direction. So that way, when I drive around the other side of the lake to go to where I used to work, it just fucks me up.
Yeah, because that's south.
Yeah.
Keith is thinking. Are you thinking about maps right now, Keith?
No,
yeah, we bored the shit out of them.
No, you're good. I
maps aren't spreadsheets. I don't know this.
No, I'm always a very visual. Like I pride myself, at least if I'm in a neighborhood that I know or whatever, I can like kind of like stand in the direction and kind of know that like up is north, if left is west, and right is east, and down is south. And I like to be able to like I can like my wife has a hard. I don't think she can visualize that, but I can kind of like go out in my like. I can be in my living room and be like, all right, yeah, that's north, that's south, that's east, west, that's west, just because like I'm using like markers of where I know that like if I'm like, how do I get to Henrietta? It's like it's a suburb south of me. Like, well, Henrietta's that way, so that's south. So if I face that way, that's facing south.
So I did this. This is a funny story about work. We've been doing this thing looking at how to classify parts of New York State as different things: rural, suburban, urban, some other shit. And I was looking at the map and I was looking at where I grew up. And I always thought like the town that was next to us was south of where my parents lived. And I finally realized looking at this map, because I hadn't done this since I was 3 and had understanding of these things, it was actually east. And it blew my fucking mind. I'm like doing shit on a map with a coworker of mine. I'm like, holy shit, that town is east of my parents' house. And I'm like, sorry, I'm having a moment here. I always thought it was south.
I would relate to. I would like when you know something as fact your whole life and then it becomes not fact, it's like it is mind, it's eye opening, and it's definitely it deserves like a few minutes of like reflection and appreciation. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I got basically one reoccurring thing that I was given a couple times. I guess we got to ask it. What'd you do to your dick? What'd you do to your dick, and why was it purple? And what did Tim do
Jesus.
to it?
Okay. This is great. So I went back and looked at, because I have never deleted. So for those of you guys who don't know, Keith knows him. My coach, Tim, T3 Strength Systems. I'll give him a little plug because he's a wonderful human being. I was looking at this training block, and it was a bit silly for so it was 2022. So that would have made me what? This is right before I turned. That was 2 years ago. So I was 37. So let's experiment on something with a 37-year-old client, which is fine. Like I'm not saying anything bad about Tim. We like to do things like that because I can handle them and understand how to like regulate it. He gave me a block of, well, I forgot the first part of this. I only remember the second part of it because it was when my dick got broken. But so we were doing like a hypertrophy block, and it was 3 days a week. I was like, probably was doing Monday, Wednesday, and then events on Friday or Saturday. Monday, I started my session with 3x20 squats.
Yeah.
And then did some other bullshit. And then on Wednesday, I was doing myo reps of squats, which I don't know, like if you guys know what myo reps are. So, it's you do like an activation set of like 10 to 12, which is roughly it's not like RPE 10, but it's like pretty, like you're close to, like, say if you're doing 12, close to your 12 rep max. So maybe you could do 12, or you could do like 14 or 15. So you do that, you rack the bar for 15 seconds, then do like 8 or 10 reps, rack the bar for 15 seconds, do 6 or 8 reps, and then you kind of drop 2 reps each set, only resting for 15 seconds until like you can't do reps anymore. And so this was, it's actually funny. I think breaking my dick is what made me actually get a supporting membership, because I broke my dick. I broke my dick on, it would have been actually shit. It would have been exactly coincided with it. I'm pretty sure I broke my dick on March 1st, 2022, and I became a supporting member on March 1st, 2022.
Well, my dick's broke. Better join the crew.
So I should finally give them money to have friends. This was before Discord too. So I was just like giving them money because I like their podcast. Like the Discord wasn't a thing in March of 2022. But so that's what happened. So we were doing this hypertrophy block, and like I said, Monday was 3x20 squats, and then we did like the first week I think was front squats of the myo reps shit. The second week was high bar. The third week was low bar. So it's a Wednesday morning. I think it probably was a Wednesday, maybe a Thursday. I don't know, Tuesday, someday in the middle of the week. And I had to train in the morning. So I go down. I'm training at, got up at 4:30. I'm in the garage by, 5 at the latest training. Everything feels good. We're moving weight. We get through our warm-up sets. The activation set. And so the weight stays the same, and you just keep dropping reps off as you get more fatigued. So 365 was the weight that I was supposed to do that day. And my best squat at that time was 500 pounds. I'd done like a year before or something like that. So I go and like I said, all the warm-up sets actually felt really good for a 5 a.m. training session. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be a great training day. So I go and I do my activation set, first rep, great. Second rep, great. Third rep, great. Fourth rep, great. Fifth rep, great. Sixth rep, boom, fucking my adductor tendon just blows up. Like could hear it like that. Well, and if I don't know, like if you guys have ever torn a tendon or heard or seen someone do it, like you can hear that shit because it's a rubber band that's just exploding. So and this is the only time I've ever dumped a squat too, like in my life, was when I did this too. And luckily, I think I had the safety set at a reasonable level. So I dumped it over the top of my head, lay on the floor for a little while. I was listening to either Massonomics or Stronger by Science. I was listening to one of those two podcasts while this is happening. And then like realized, I'm like, okay. And I'm like yelling. I yell my wife's name. The nickname I have for her, I yell. I'm like, well, she can't hear me because like our garage is in the front of the house and our bedroom is in the back of the house on the second floor. So she's not going to hear me. So I'm like, okay, I think I can get up. So I like crawl over to where my phone is because it's like up on a shelf in my garage. And I crawl over and like am able to reach up and get it up. So then I try calling her, but she's asleep. And so it's on like do not disturb sleep mode. So like that doesn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, can I get up? And so I realize I can like stand up and I can walk and it's not that big of a deal. I get upstairs and, whatever, the day goes on and it's fine. So like I said, that I think it happened on a Wednesday. And then like had like limited pain, like no discoloration, no anything. So like I thought like when I went to the like ortho urgent care that day, they're like, oh, we think you just strained a muscle. Well, they were very wrong, but that's fine. And like everything was, and I knew like if I thought I had tore my adductor just because I heard something explode, but the fact that it wasn't like bruised, I was like, oh, maybe I'm okay. Well, I had just torn the tendon. I hadn't torn any muscles. And for whatever reason, the little blood that did come from that, like the way it drained into my body because of where like your adductor longest tendon goes from like your knee to your hip, and it tore off my hip. So when it tore, that's where the blood went. And the little bit of blood that it released went into my dick. And like, so this is Wednesday. I think it was Friday or it was Saturday. Because I remember I like sent a message to the PA I think I saw over the weekend. And it was like, hey, I've got a bruise on the side of my penis. Should I be worried about this? And like the nurse got back to me on Monday and she's like, no, they said it's fine. But then, so I think I waited a couple of days and then I told Tim, I'm like, hey dude, you kind of broke my dick. It was purple yesterday. And then like he held on to it for a little while. And I think it was like a week or two later, he's like, dude, so we've got a group chat for all his, well, not all his clients, but a lot of his clients. He's like, dude, can I tell the team that we broke your dick? And I'm like, yes, you can tell them that you broke my dick, Tim. And so now that's been the joke is that, Tim broke my dick because we did mile reps of squats after a 3x20 squat day.
That's brutal. So did you end up getting a surgery to put the tendon back on, or how does that work?
No. So it actually took me a month to get the torn tendon diagnosed because I had to go get an MRI and that took forever. And then the doctor was out of town. It was a whole thing. So at that point, like, and I had started doing some research on my own, like looking up like adductor longest tendon tears, rehab, yada, yada, yada. And I found this like one study that they did in like football players, and it actually like the outcomes between surgery and like non-surgical intervention were essentially the same as far as like re-injury rates, but the recovery was like a third of the time. Cause like you just like, I took like a month off and then like slowly eased back into things and then was good to go. Whereas like surgery, like if I would have had surgery when we found it out, it would have probably been 6 to 8 weeks after. And then I would have had like another 12 weeks of recovery. So it was like, so I guess it just kind of like reattaches itself to like the muscle there, give or take, and like regrows or some shit. I don't know.
I think I knew that now because I happened similar thing happened to my buddy Austin. I think he literally blew his adductor in a competition. I think it was the last Rochester USPA meet, like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I always remember because then he stayed in the meet and like was gonna bomb out on bench because he didn't lower anything, and he fucking ended up he missed his. Sorry, I didn't know this isn't your story, but it was impressive because he missed his
Yeah.
opener, missed his second, and then grinded out his third, just bawling like a baby because he didn't have an adductor, and he was like leg driving without a fucking adductor and like a freshly torn one, and he was able to stay in the meet, and then it didn't affect his pull, I guess, but I'll always fucking remember that kid doing that, like just coming this fucking closest to bombing out ever because he didn't lower his bench, knowing that he fucking tore something on the squat. So yeah.
Well, and I could see that because like the thing that was most painful for me, like in the month after, was like getting up from like a prone position, like sitting because it's like pulling all those muscles in that area are like pulling, and so that was like super painful. And one of the potential diagnoses was a sports hernia when I first did it because like that like doing a sit up was fucking agony. Like I couldn't do that.
More than normal.
Yeah. But like pulling came back pretty quick because I compete, like I did that in March and I competed in my first nationals in June and pulled PR on the mammoth bar, and it was fine. Like I just wore strongman hot pants and that seemed to keep everything tight and nice. So yeah.
And you don't even wear those anymore. I always see you training in fucking jorts. Like you didn't find that they were like knowing that you have that basically like weak link potential now that to tear again or whatever. Like you're not anal about like I'm gonna wear these, keep the extra compression on because you don't think it's beneficial.
No, and I just don't like the evolution ones I have. It makes me have a saggy ass. I did too much work on my glutes to have a saggy ass when I'm training.
No, I get that.
Squat more.
I get that.
Keith, come on. You've seen me in jorts. Like there's enough there. Like I know. Just bad
squatting's not going to help. There's a cake there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Was your dick broken when you flashed somebody's sister, or?
Oh shit! That's a good one. That's a good one. No, my dick. So, my dick has. I think it was my buddy's cousin actually. I don't know if it was a sister, but yes. No, New York State, more New York State geography here for everybody. There's a region in New York State, the Adirondack Mountains. That's a lovely, lovely place. I used to go up there like every 4th of July because one of my buddies grew up there, and we'd go boating and fuck around, and it was a good time. And we were at his uncle's land, and like it's on a lake, and it's the fucking middle of nowhere. We were drinking all day, so I had to go take a piss, and I went over where I thought no one could see me, and his cousin, who was younger than us, we were in our 20s, I guess saw me pissing, and his uncle didn't like me for a while after that. But
I wonder why.
It's not like I wasn't like old school, like like in the 90s movies of flashers, with a trench coat running out. I was just taking a piss in some bushes, and I thought I was good, but guess I wasn't.
Now to mend fences with the uncle, did you try doing your Jeremy Shockey impression to see if he was
or did you show him your dick?
Yeah,
I probably should have shown him my dick. That would have been like, everybody can see how unimpressive this is, so like we're good to go now.
I wasn't showing this off. Look at
it. I was just trying to take a piss, man. But no, and actually I feel like now with the hair too, like I could really go with my Shockey impression. Like this is really like classic Jeremy Shockey there. But yeah, I used to I worked at summer camp for the YMCA like in college, and we would play football with the kids in the morning because what else are you going to do? And I would just, so this was early 2000s, and I'm guessing that Jeremy Shockey was pretty good back then. I'd say blanking on.
That was his era. He was like,
I don't even know who that is.
He's a tight end from Miami that played for the Giants in the NFL.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't feel bad about not knowing that. There's no fucking way I would know that. Yeah.
Yes, he was drafted by the Giants and then played for the Saints at the end of his career, I believe.
Awesome. He was in the long run of like Miami put like first round tight ends in the league for like either every year or every other year for like a decade. It seemed like in the early 2000s, and he was like one of those guys. But he
Yeah.
was a stud.
Was he the first one, or was there
I
someone
think he might have
before him?
been. I just remember him his rookie year, like he was just trucking people like no one else had
Okay.
done. So like I was probably in high school, like so like 02, oh
Yeah.
three, oh four, somewhere in that realm. He was just laying people out. So do you think you have a Shockey impression, or was it more of a
Uh,
visual thing than it was an audio thing?
I would just moss kids and yell "Shocky Who" at them.
Okay,
It's pretty much
okay,
all it was.
word,
That was
okay.
not that I think like I don't know if I could tell you what Jeremy Shockey talking sounds like.
I gotcha.
Um, I don't know. He probably sounds like every normal white guy from who is about our not much older
Yeah.
than us. Like,
We are all nailing that impression right now.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Except you guys don't have the hair. Like that's the only thing that I have because he had long hair for a while there. So
Uh,
Yep.
we are rounding out to about an hour and a half, so it might be time to jump into some games pretty soon.
Play
But
some
there is
games.
one thing I wanted to talk about, a little bit of a serious conversation here.
yeah,
Yes.
Recently had my son assessed. Very, we're waiting on the full diagnosis, but we'd be crazy to think he doesn't have ADHD.
yeah,
He's got the oppositional defiance going. He's got the violent outbursts. He's got a lot of stuff going, and that has also kind of had me looking at myself. Now, and I understand you've gone through this.
yeah.
Is it something you're
How
comfortable? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
It's so interesting to me talking about this stuff.
he's 5.5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I will be 40 in like 3 months,
Yeah.
and I don't talk about this a lot, but it's been one of those things where even the other day I woke up and he had hit his mom, and naturally I'm awake for 30 seconds. For my first instinct is to walk in there and yell at him, but you can't, because
Yeah.
then like he just escalates and he storms off and he sits on the couch and he's growling as he's crying, and then I realize, damn it, like I have the emotional regulation issues that he has. So now I'm looking at myself as possible diagnosis and all of that kind of stuff. So I understand that you've gone through this, and
Yeah.
it would be, if you want to share anything, share little, share none. It would help me personally, at least.
Yeah. So our oldest Porter, he's 9. It's funny, we had his curriculum night tonight for school. So like we were talking to all his teachers, and it's good. I'll get to some of that. But like, so he was our first kid, and your son's your oldest too, right, Joey?
Yep.
So like we don't know anything as parents. Like
Yep.
we're figuring it all out. Yeah,
Yep.
like it's just like I don't know. So yes, he was a super like reactive kid. But like also he's like the sweetest, like when he's especially well, we'll get to where he's at now, but like back then, like he was the sweetest kid ever, like when he was sweet. But then when he was like emotionally dysregulated, it was a fucking nightmare, and like didn't know what to do. And like I had similar reactions to you, like yell at him, like whatever, and it could turn into this thing where we like everybody be spiraling, and it would just be like, well, what am I doing here as the parent? I'm just making this worse.
Yep.
So, and also the other thing that kind of fucked shit up with him was his his kindergarten school year was COVID. Like he started September of 2020. So like, and this isn't anything against his school. Like we've had, like we love our school district and our school and everything, but he had a long-term sub because the primary teacher was on maternity leave, and the long-term sub was going to go on maternity leave like halfway through the year. And it was just like a shit show of a year.
Yeah, it's tumultuous, and that a normal kid wouldn't be able to. Sorry, a neurotypical child wouldn't be able to go through that. Yeah.
Yeah. So towards the end of the year, I think we started we started with like family counseling, because we were like, this isn't working. Like we're not doing something right. And we had our youngest at that time. He was born in April of 19. So now we've got this 4-person family, and we're trying to figure stuff out. So we get him diagnosed with ADHD, and I was talking to like a coworker about it, and he's like, you should read this book. ADHD 2.0. So you should read that book too, Joey. It's quick. It's an easy read. Um, he's like, you should read it. It's a good book. It will give you a lot of insight on like what's up with this. And so I read it, and as I'm reading the book, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did they write this book about me?
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit, I probably should have figured this out like a long time ago too. Cause like I said, I worked in addiction. So like I understood mental health. Like I had coworkers who had ADHD, and like we got along really good and could just like rip off each other, except when she hadn't taken her meds in the morning and we had to facilitate groups together. And I'd be like, you can't talk until your meds kick in.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, oh shit. Okay, cool. This is making so much more sense. Like um, I think I wrote in the thing, Keith, like it was like the puzzle pieces were starting to get put in that I didn't know weren't there before.
Yep.
So then it was like, okay, I should go like get myself diagnosed. So like the kids can say like, as they're going through their life, hey, my dad had this diagnosis. And so like, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
But then as I did that, I was like, people kept saying to me like, do you want to just like try some meds? Like it might help a little bit. I was like, like I'm 38, 39. Like, what's it going to do? But then last year I found a provider and started taking some Adderall, and it's pretty great. Makes me less anxious. I don't know. That's the one thing it does for me. It just makes me not like freak out about everything, because my brain still does this constantly. If you guys haven't been able to figure that out in the hour and a half that we've been talking, but at least when it's doing this, I'm not just like then feeling like the whole time that it's doing that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's, I don't know. I think that's part of being a good parent, is you learn from your kids and figure that shit out. And like, I don't know. Our parents didn't know any different. And like back then, like when we were kids, if you got like an ADD diagnosis, it was more like you're a bad kid and you're like unruly and unmanageable, which like that's not the case for these kids. Like we heard from my son's teachers tonight, like he's doing awesome. Like he's got so much potential. He's so bright, because he's this kid. I know every parent says this, but this is like, my son is like smarter than shit.
Yep.
And it's like, but we just got to learn how to harness that. Like, and that's the cool thing about ADHD. It's a superpower too, when it works the right way.
Yeah. Or on his first day meeting the teacher for junior kindergarten, said, I can count to 20. And she was like, I don't believe you. You're 4. And he did it.
Yeah.
And so like the report cards are always like, he's compassionate and he helps other kids and he plays with the students that have special needs. And like he does all of these, he can recognize capital letters, and we've never even gotten into that before. And they're like, he's so smart in all of this until he's mad. And then when he's mad, it's fucking gangbusters. Right. And then, that kind of looks at me, and I was just like, oh no. Right. I'm all of those things until I'm not. Right. And then you start realizing that, all of a sudden in my household, when he needs to calm down, he finds me. Right. And that for me is huge, because I was never the calm person in the house. And even people listen to this podcast for the past 7,000.
Yeah, you're calm, Joey.
Yeah. I'm the calm one in the house, because when he's overregulated, he comes and finds me. Right.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm the one that will go, okay, let's breathe, let's talk, let's get through it. But it's because I know, because I have to do that to myself now to do it to him. So I had another friend that said the same thing. Her kid got diagnosed, and then she got diagnosed, and then she went on the same meds as her kid. And she was like, I'm sleeping. I'm not tired anymore. Like
you can be a better parent because because you have like that for me. So the biggest thing, the one thing, well, not the one thing, but the thing that like I noticed the most, that was like, as soon as I started taking meds, I was like, oh, this is sweet. I do most of the morning stuff at our house, because I'm just a morning person and I'm up and what works for our family. And I'd always be stressed out like every day, even though I knew it was like I was mostly on the same schedule, and I knew we were all going to get out of the house and we are going to get to places on time. But that's like a thing that I have. Like I get anxious about being on time. Once I started taking meds, I was able, like my brain was able to tell itself like, hey, shithead, like you've literally done this hundreds of times already. Like chill out. Like you're going to be fine.
You never had control. You just had anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Like that was
And
it.
like now I still don't have control, but at least I'm not anxious about it.
Yeah.
I can just be like, oh, cool. Okay.
Well, thank you for sharing because I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
We aren't at the level of me getting diagnosed because I need to do a physical. I need to do a bunch of other stuff, and part of that conversation is going to be like, hey, maybe it's time I go talk to somebody, right? So
Yeah.
that's
I don't know how it works in Canadian healthcare. And sorry, this is like a weird left hand, right hand turn, but just the ODD thing, just be careful because that's a diagnosis that like can carry, and it always isn't great to have attached. So hopefully it's not like
it's probably the same. But I gotta say that the thing that made me get him tested was discovering what ODD was.
yeah.
So there, you know,
And
when my friend died, she died October 5th. And I had to have a conversation because she was a big part of his life in it for a couple of years. So Auntie Morgan passed away. We're never going to see her again, just so you know. So when we go to this thing tomorrow, people are going to be sad. And he goes, well, I'm going to be happy. And I'm like, why? Well, because if other people are sad, I'm going to be happy somebody died. And it's just like, but he just immediately has to oppose what you're doing. And it's like, dude, I can't right now. So
yeah, bro,
I'm
it's not
aware.
the time.
I'm aware, and I know. Same with personality disorders. You don't like that's a thing that never really goes away. That's a thing that carries with you forever. But I love my son, but the oppositional stuff is there. Like it is for sure. Yeah. And we'll get through it. And I hope if other parents are listening to this and they're going through this, thank you for sharing your journey. I'm sure if I get asked, I will share mine. But we try not to do too much serious goose here. But I saw it there, and then I was like, I want to. I want to talk to somebody else about this right now, please.
Wow.
So we have this game
that worked out.
We do some games.
We have some games we like to play.
No, and I'm glad Lucas was able to share that. I feel that I think it's always beneficial to talk about shit like that and be able to just be able to share with others that are going through similar things. I know Lucas basically, shared that whole thing with me a few months ago, last time he was over here for a lift. And I thought it was great that he could open up about that and, be proud of himself for being able to get diagnosed as a 40-year-old man, essentially. And that's just cool. People to actually take their mental health serious and, hope everyone can strive to do that in their personal lives.
Please do.
But we do have these games.
Hold on, I want to say one more serious thing.
Yes, sir.
Please.
As one of my other favorite podcasts says, your mental health, shit, I'm going to fuck it up, but I'll paraphrase it. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's a good one.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not a reason for anything, right? It is the reason, but it's not an excuse, right? I agree with you on that one, yeah.
Okay, silly games. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Well, I disappear for a second.
I'll hit you with an FMK, and we'll let Joey do a Rushmore likely. And maybe hit you with a couple FMKs if he's gone for a minute.
Okay.
So, fuck, marry, kill. Let's go with log, stones, and yoke. So, log press, stone lifts, and I guess I'm assuming these, yoke carries, I suppose would be what.
Yes. Yoke being placed on your back and having to run with it.
Yeah, sounds unpleasant.
It's the fucking worst. So we're gonna kill yoke forever.
Yep.
Which is funny because when I got into strongman, my whole thing was I'm an athlete and I can do athletic things, but yoke is just terrible and sucks. And I hate people like Mitch Hooper and Wes Derwinski, naming two Canadians here while Joey's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Who are very good at it. So we're gonna kill yoke. Well, we can fuck with log because occasionally it behaves and likes to be my friend. And then we're gonna marry stones because picking up rocks is always the best. And rocks are our friends.
I came back at the right time. Rocks.
Yep.
You want to hit the listeners with your best log press and your best stone pick?
Best log press, which is this is embarrassing. So I'm a split jerker for all you people who like to split jerk.
No, cancel the podcast.
But my best log press is actually a push press, and I just hit it a couple weeks ago. 260 pounds, which is not impressive as a 240-pound man, but whatever. My best stone load is 400 and change. I forget what it is. 405, whatever the big one that we have at the at the gym. But hopefully I'll get Barney soon. So all of our stones at East Ave Barbell have names. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them do. Barney's the 430. So now that my coach is back, he went on an Ollie side quest for a little while. So now that he's coming back to the promised land of strongman, we'll pick up some rocks together, and that will hopefully get me to the 430.
Did you see the video of him breaking the 200?
I did.
Great.
Was that the day you were there?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was like fucking 3 feet away from him when he did it because I was getting ready to fucking lift the 200 because I had got the 175 and I was like, all right, I'm gonna probably tap out at 200, and then he broke the 200, and then it was the 240, and I was like, I ain't lifting the 240, and then I got out of that real quick.
Yeah, it's Fritz's fault, he said. But I gotta go piss real quick, or I'm gonna piss my pants. I will be right back.
So, yeah, no worries.
Actually, did he leave? No, he just went off video. Okay.
It's all good. What you got, buddy?
I don't know. This idea that, at 240 pounds, being able to overhead press a log at 260. Just a quick chat about that kind of leverage idea. Your body weight, does it really have anything to do with your overhead press? I can see why squat and deadlift, probably. Right? Because if you're let's say I'm 160 pounds, okay? For me to be able to deadlift 160 pounds, well, I do that every day. I stand up, right? Yeah. So like you should be able to do your body weight at some leverage because you're leveraging your body weight against the pull a little bit, right? I know there is strength factored. So, but I feel like your overhead press, doing your body weight or more, like that's all muscle. There's no leverage. That's all just strength over your head. Again, I'm not a coach. I don't know anything like that.
I would say it's similar to the bench as far as like, well, no, because bench, I guess more mass. I don't know. I've gained fucking a lot of weight, and my bench only went up fucking 20, like 10 or 15 pounds. So
yeah, but you're not again. You're
move
not
mass. So
you're not leveraging your weight against.
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
no. And as maybe a strict press, no, probably a push press or a split. I don't know enough about split jerks. I know with like a push press, you think like more.
You're a split jerk.
Yeah. But like the bigger your body is, the more speed's not the right word, but like intensity you can like put into that dip and press. So if you are a bigger human, you would be able to create more velocity, you would think at your
because you're using your legs. Yeah, you're using your legs as leverage.
But as far as a straight up strict press, probably not. But I mean, it's just having bigger triceps and having bigger fucking traps and like a neck. Like I don't know.
Yeah, when he said I don't want to do when he did his body weight thing, I was like, this is still fucking incredible because your body weight doesn't, in my opinion, reflect your overhead press.
No.
Right? If some 260-pound guy came to me and told me my deadlifts were shit, but he was only doing 315, I'd be like, buddy, like you relax, like you weigh fucking 100 pounds more than me. Your body weight would reflect that lift. I wouldn't say the same thing on that.
I think the only person I know that's got a good overhead press that's actually impressive was Greg Knuckles' uncle, who, after 40 years of not touching a barbell, unracked 405 and just did it for reps, apparently. Similar to his mom squatting 315 the first time. The only two impressive reps I've heard about on Massnomics podcast in a very long time.
I think I'm just, I had my headphones in, so I listened to everything, Joey. I think it's just, I'm also skewed because, like one of the dudes in our lifting crew who's roughly the same size as me, like
was 330.
Yeah, he had 330, 340. I think Evan can split jerk and like push presses over 3, but also literally his back, like if you look at me, like his back is like this wide and I've got gorilla arms. So that's why I'm good at stones and deadlift. I don't have good leverages for doing this.
That makes more sense too.
No, that makes perfect sense. I had somebody the other day from the place where the Highland Games happen here in the area, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I attended." And she goes, "Oh, do you throw?" And I was like, "No." And she got like, "I guess my back is the thing that says I do like cabers or something." Because she was like, "Oh, you look like you should." And it was just like, again, it's the back. It's even a small guy like me. People are like, "You should be doing that." So I can see that, but I just like. Nah, you're doing more than me. I can barely do my body weight in overhead press, but I can deadlift 2.9 times, right? But again, body leverages, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
welcome back.
I know Joey needs to get a log and an axle and some bumper plates. And train
so
outside for a few months every
I
year.
want a log. It
That's
just won't work in the
seasonal.
basement. Same with the
No,
farmer's carrier.
it has to just be seasonal.
Yeah.
I can only I'm only gonna log press when it's not fucking 30 degrees outside. So seasonal.
Yeah, I know.
thing.
I'd be out in the winter. You know how awesome it is to lift in the snow. When my deadlift platform was out in the driveway, I would lift in the snow all the time. The beard is all just like covered in snow, and you're just like, you look like a Yeti, and you're out there just hauling weight. It looks fucking dope. So I'm gonna go into my Mount Rushmore. Is that okay?
That's where.
Yes.
Okay, the Mount Rushmore of the Golden Girls.
Ooh, Mountain Rushmore of the Golden Girls.
I mean, there is only 4, so I do kind of want you to rank them.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like a bad inside joke from my band days where we would sing it. But no. But that's why the Golden Girls is the thing. But so this is I'm going to be really bad at this because I don't remember any of their names. But
I have that ready for you.
So my number one is the old lady, the mom,
Sophia.
She's the shit. So she's great. So then I think probably got to go with B. Arthur after that, right? Because she was like the sassy one.
Dorothy.
Who was like hot to trot, right? So she'd be number 2. Then Betty White, because she's just a gem and an American treasure, would be number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever the 4th one was,
Blanche.
that would be, Blanche. She's there, So that would be that. That's there's only 4 of them, so that's all you can have on Mount Rushmore. But ranking, and so I guess then that gets into who are they on Mount Rushmore, and that's a whole nother conversation.
We don't talk about politics here. That would be too political, right? At that point.
Okay, bonus points. Keith and Lucas, which Golden Girl are you?
The old lady has all the zingers, doesn't she? Like the mom. No, she doesn't. Oh.
She has most of them.
I've seen like 2 episodes, so I can't answer that.
Keith, what the? Okay,
we've talked about that in the Discord. I've tried to get Stephanie to watch it, but every time we try to watch it, it's all blurry and shit. So it's
one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, and I don't like sitcoms in general, but Golden Girls. I will go to bat for Golden Girls.
I'd say, I think I'd probably be Betty White's character, based on what I know of the Golden Girls.
All the Minnesota talk and all the weird shit she comes up with.
Yeah. Like I will reference the most asinine niche, as you would say, Joey. I don't know if the appropriate is niche or niche. Bullshit, but yeah.
Just don't ask Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think you passed all those, and you want to start off with a little unpaid or underrated. Are you familiar with this relatively new game we came up with all by ourselves?
Yeah, I think I know it.
So druthers are allowed. Unpaid, would be something that might be considered a little overrated, and underrated something you're kind of a fan of. So we're gonna hit you with some Lucas specific topics, and you'll have to just tell us if they're unpaid or underrated. So, Big Lucas, number 1 here, macro factor, unpaid or underrated?
Ooh.
I was told you use this app. I hope that was accurate.
It is very accurate. This is actually like my 3rd version of this app. I used the Renaissance periodization app for a little while. Then I switched over to Carbon, which is Lane Norton's app. And then I switched over to macro factor, which I was blown away when you guys were talking about and didn't realize that you guys didn't know that Knuckles was the one behind macro factor.
I've never heard of it.
I know both of you live under rocks, but like I feel like that's something you should have known being in this space.
I mean, in all fairness, I don't know who he is or what that app is.
But how did you did you start after he was on last time? Like you didn't listen to it?
Very likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you haven't got back.
Or I did listen to it and didn't care because I didn't know who he was.
Oh, I don't follow all the guests. Like as much as I support Massonomics, there's some guests that I just won't.
Yeah, they have to say something.
I'm not gonna go follow Turbo from fucking or Nitro from American Gladiators or whatever. Like, like there's just certain people like I'm not gonna. But I mean, I don't know. I think I followed Knuckles at one point. I don't know if I still do, honestly.
Yeah, I already followed Knuckles before that, and like did a bunch of his training and liked him, but whatever. Okay, so Macro Factor though, unpaid or underrated? Can't ride the line.
Nope, not allowed.
I feel like as far as macro tractor, Jesus,
Macro
macro.
Tractor. There's the title name.
That is a good one.
As far as macro trackers go, I would say it's underrated.
Okay.
Because I do the whole thing that it's like agnostic to like what you did is fantastic. Like it just tells you whatever and it doesn't yell at you. Like I remember when I was doing carbon and I was trying to like reverse diet and it was telling me to eat like 4,000 calories and I gained like 6 pounds in a week. It was like, sure, keep eating 4,000 calories. And I was like, bro, this isn't going to work here. It's not how this works. So.
What's that run a month out of curiosity?
Macro Factor?
Yeah.
So I do
like a year thing.
I do the yearly, and I think it was $65 for a year. I think it's $10 a month if you pay monthly, but then you get a little discount if you pay for a year up front. And maybe I still have a discount. Like I don't know if that 10% is carried over every year. I think I used Jess Bittner's when I signed up like 2 years ago because it actually just renewed this month. So I'm on my like third year of it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I started my recent weight loss journey, a couple months ago, and I've stayed true to the whole idea of wanting to lose weight, but I had to get out of the tracking apps. I didn't feel I got too obsessed with it there for like a month, and it was it was too time consuming because I was just using a free app that was just a pain in my dick. So it made my dick purple. It was such a pain. So it just wasn't so. If I was to get back into it, I would maybe experiment with Macro Factor. I'm kind of waiting for Crew Falls, and I want to like just borrow someone's phone for 5 minutes and like look who has Macro Factors. I'm sure at least a couple people will there, and just kind of be like, all right, this is what the app does. This is how you use it. Because like, I don't want to waste 25 minutes to a half hour a day on the app. I'm willing to give it. I'm willing to give it like 6 minutes, and if I have to pay $100 a year to give it 6 minutes a day, like to maybe, but
yeah, I did. That's probably about the amount of time I spend on it. But next time I come over to lift the blobs, I'll let you fuck around on it.
Yeah, you got to catch Tim.
Yeah.
All right. So unpaid or underrated blobs.
Ooh.
Blob training for grip strength. Well, actually, no, not for grip strength. Blob training for fun, I guess. For however you want to take it, but yeah, not necessarily specific to grip training.
I would say the blobs are underrated. Like they're fun, and I feel maybe it's because I'm good at them. Like because Tim's the only one who's gotten your heaviest one, and the second heaviest one that I got, like not many people have gotten that, right? So like, I think it's just like a thing, and it's like it's so easy, but like so cool. Like I'm just gonna put this from the ground to a bench.
Yep. So
like, hey,
anyone not familiar with what a blob is? It's a old style York dumbbell, like what my and Tanner collection is of, but it's like just one head of that with the handle and the other piece not attached, and it's laying vertically on the ground, and you have to pick it up with your hand and basically try to either lock it up, like stand up with it like it's a deadlift kind of, or sit it on another object, like usually like a bench or a table. Yep. So it's just more of it's a grip strength thing, but it's more of an exhibition of like strength and fun with your homies than it is actually like I'm gonna get better at this sport by doing this, because it's more, Brian Shaw does it all the time in his videos if you've seen those.
I've only done it once, and it was in your gym after doing an RPE 10 deadlift.
Yeah, you did.
Then going, fuck it, I'm still gonna do another 400-pound deadlift after that for fun. And then Chris goes, Joey, go try the blobs. And I couldn't, I don't even think I got the 12-pound one. I was just like, I'm broken. Like I can't, like I just exhausted myself on deadlifts. Yeah.
I think the first time I tried them, I just YOLO'd.
Yeah, you did like a 700-pound fucking axle deadlift or something.
Yeah, I YOLO'd. Oh no. That was it a different That was day? The first time I came and lifted. I didn't do the blobs then. It was your birthday this year, and I just came over and YOLO'd 18-inch deadlifts because you had them, and I pulled like,
that's right.
I don't know, over 6 beltless. I think I was going to try to pull 7 just to fuck with John. But I did blobs afterwards because I just was coming to hang out. Like I think I was drinking a beer the whole time I was deadlifting because it was like I don't know. Because were you pulling 18-inch or someone was pulling 18-inch? I'm like, I might as well. Yeah.
Actually, I think you brought yours over and then you just never, because I ended up borrowing them for like, because it was right when I think I decided to get into the Lift Hard, Live Easy. So it was because I had those shitty Titan ones and then you let me borrow your good ones. All right, Big Lucas. My last one here for you, unpaid or underrated, being a natty lifter competing against untested guys in strongman.
Oh, 100% underrated. It's so much better when you beat them. It's so much fun. It's so, you know what's really sweet is going to Canada and competing against I competed against a dude who won Canada's Strongest Man and I beat him on the deadlift. Okay.
That's awesome.
Like in the amount of gear this dude was on.
What was
still is on.
Do you remember his name?
Yeah, shit. I'll say I care. It's something. It's like G Pro is like he's a French Canadian guy. Fucking.
Well, if he had a bigger deadlift, we might know what his name is, but he doesn't. You know, it's
yeah.
I might know who. I honestly might know.
I'll send you. I'll send you his IG, but I can't remember. But yeah, like so we've become friends with Wes Derwinski. Do you know Wes, Joey? He was from the Niagara Falls area, but he held the keg toss world record with Hooper and whoever got it at World's Strongest Man this last year. But he's a Niagara Falls guy. Mm-hmm. He's between Niagara Falls and Detroit-ish area. Whatever. What's the Canadian city on the other side?
I don't know. Niagara Falls and Detroit, those two don't line up. That'd be Windsor.
No. So okay. He is a Niagara Falls guy, but his wife moved out. Whatever. What's the Canadian city that's
Windsor.
Just on the other side? Windsor. Thank you. Sorry. But so he's Windsor now. But he just competed this last weekend actually at the Giants Live show. But we made friends with him because he knew some of the Buffalo strongman guys that we had, and so he ran a couple shows, and Tim and I, my coach, went over and did them. And the second one we did, like there was legit like pro Canadian strongmen doing this, like random car park show. And I got third in the deadlift. I was like so it was like a rising bar car deadlift. So like you did a rep, they threw some sandbags on, did another rep, threw some sandbags on, and I don't know, they threw like 5 sandbags on and then you repped it out. I got third. I think I got all the sandbags and then got 2 or 3 more reps. And I think, like I said, like, 1 or 2 other people beat me. So
very
I don't
good.
know. And they all thought that when I told them how old I was at that show, they're like, I was 38, 37 at the time. They're like, we thought you were like 24. Because I have such a young look. And they just, all of them were in their 20s, but looked older than me because they were on lots of steroids.
So many of the East Ave crew that Lucas is like a part of that I'll occasionally go and train with, when they realize I'm almost 40, they're like, what? Like I get it almost every time when like someone finds out how old I am. I'm like, yeah, dude, they're like, I thought you were like your late 20s, early 30s. Like, yeah, well, thank you. But I guess come look at me in the morning when I have these big fucking bags under my eyes and tell me I'm like not 40.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, what's your next one?
It's your turn, buddy.
You did 2 or 1? Oh, you did the blobs. It's not on the list. Okay.
I pulled the blobs out of left field.
I added like 6.
Yep. Well,
okay.
I can.
All right. Yeah, hit him with the one I just highlighted.
All right, Big Lucas. This is let's go. A man from Buffalo area, so wings are a big important thing down there. Everyone thinks that Buffalo's made them. So flats, unpaid or underrated?
So this is I've had an evolution on this. I would say a handful of years ago, I would have said unpaid like all day, every day. I thought flats were the stupidest thing on the face of the planet. Why do flats exist? just give me drumsticks all day, every day. But I feel lately I've come around and I feel like they're kind of underrated. Like there's something about the extra work that it takes to eat them, and like still, well, they're unpaid in that you don't get nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's less meat, but I feel like there's more skin. I don't know. So I would say they've become underrated for me. But that's a recent decision. I used to be very unpaid on them.
Is the skin purple?
Hopefully not. If your chicken wing skin is purple,
Fuck you.
Call your doctor.
Well, it's because
especially after 4 hours.
I find that drums have more cartilage and shit, and it's harder to eat. Whereas the whites, like the flats, they're more consistent, like white meat, right?
Yeah,
like
just called them the white.
Yeah. My brain did not work properly there.
It took me a second to hear.
Yeah, because I wanted to say white meat, and it just I fucked that one up.
No,
and it's probably not even white meat; it's probably dark meat because they're wings, and that's just But either way, like I find that the flats are a lot more interesting to me. But it's a return to mock too, right? Every once in a while, I'm like, I need ribs because I need the pleasure of ripping something off the bone. Sorry to all the vegetarian listeners we have.
Yeah, because I'm sure that's a huge portion of the crew.
Yeah, right.
Of the vegetarians.
At least, I imagine there's at least 3 out of the 500.
So I have 1 random and 3 music related. Which one would you like first?
Let's go with the music one, and then we'll go random.
I've got 3 music ones. Okay. Unpaid or underrated, Zach Wilde.
So he's definitely underrated for how jacked he is.
I feel like the horseshoe triceps. You see him lately?
Yeah, he was like the first dude. Like him and Kerry King were the first like super jacked metal guys, and he used to be like the super skinny, like like 80s hair metal guy. So that was pretty cool. I'm gonna say I feel bad because I'm saying underrated for everything, but like I feel he's underrated, like just what he like did for Ozzy's career and just him as like a player. In general, although I feel like maybe he's got like some problematic. I don't know. I haven't kept up with him, but like maybe he's kind of problematic in the way he looks at the world these days. But who knows? I don't know. No. He seems.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I don't follow that version of him.
I know he had like a side project back in the day called, I think it was called like Leonard Skinhead, which was like a joke. It was like this like sort of like Southern rock thing. So hopefully that doesn't mean anything bad. But
I didn't know about. I knew about Pride and Glory, but I didn't know about that one. Oh, interesting. He. I hope not, because I have a Black Label Society tattoo. Like I'm a huge Zach Wilde fan, and hopefully that's not true.
He seems like a chill dude from like what I've read about him, but
since he had to quit drinking recently too, right? So that's he got that message from his doctor. So hopefully that okay, that was fun. Unpaid or underrated AC/DC?
I'm gonna have to say unpaid. Like, it's like the one thing. There's a really fun game that we play at Bill's tailgates that I go to. It's Thunderstruck. It's a drinking game. Mm-hmm. So you stand in a big circle, and every time they say thunder, you start drinking, and then when they say stop, like you go to the next person. So like, the intro, it's not too bad. And then they get to that last one before like the first verse and someone gets fucked because like they say thunder and then they don't say it for another, like literally minute and a half of the song. So that is definitely underrated. But other than that, very, very unpaid at this point. AC/DC, like.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where like I'm in a mood and I'll want to hear it, but there's very rarely an instance that I keep a straight face listening to AC/DC.
Yeah. And, there's a certain, like, if I plug into a certain type of guitar and amp, I'm gonna play Back in Black to see what it sounds like. Because like I want to hear that sound, but then it's like, okay, cool.
And there's always the vocals. I saw there's a really funny like joke on the internet where it's like, oh well, our band is called AC/DC, but which one of us should be the singer? And then the guy's just like, this guy's like, it's just like, it's so fucking on par. But also that cock rock stadium rock business. I wanted to hear from a guitarist. My last guitar question: unpaid or underrated and this does have a bit of a backstory for me, so I'm hoping it has one for you. Playing James Brown songs.
Ooh. Definitely underrated.
Really?
It is like, so you would think it would be easy,
Or
but it's
boring.
not.
I heard it was
But
boring.
well, if you're doing it right, it's not.
All right.
Like so for me, like that's my bread and butter. Like that is, if I could be like a rhythm guitar player in a funk band, like sign me up. I would do that all day, man. I would just chick 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 chick. I could do that for 20 minutes if you're in the right situation. Because it's about feel and it's about listening to everybody else and like being like making the whole groove like work together. And it's like, it's so much fun when it's happening right. If it's happening wrong, then it's, oh, geez, like stab me in the face, please, and get me off stage. But yeah, it is, it's definitely underrated, man. Like, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
Like any of that stuff, like everybody listens to, you listen to James Brown, like they're just, like the Payback is a great one. It's just that same thing. Yep. And that just like same drum groove like doesn't stop, but like to do that good for 7 minutes and then be like James just being like hit me and you got to do your hits. Yeah. It's not, you got to be on your shit, man. You got to be listening and paying attention. So
that's
underrated. Everything James Brown is underrated. Even like his Christmas album.
It comes just from a time that one day I was watching a cover band, and the guitarist just like at the end of the song was just like, can we fucking stop that? And he did like probably like a not 7 minute, like let's say 3 minute comedy bit about just all the things you think about while you're playing it. And he was just like, and he's just like, did I leave the stove on? Like he was just going off about it because just like it's so brainless. But I guess when you're doing that cover version that has to be so perfect that the crowd needs to recognize it, maybe that's why he got bored. So
yeah, I don't know, man. He must not have a good drummer. Like if you got a good drummer that you're playing it with, then it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and that's a good different perspective of mine. The last one, finally, that I'm giving you, we're hitting you with like 7 or 8 today. Unpaid or underrated, Dan Marino.
I feel like this is going to be like the most homerish thing that I could say, but unpaid. Like he was really good for the time, but it's shown that he's like, he's not as good. And he's a dick too.
He's a bit of
Dan Marino is a huge dick. So that's one thing, like being a Bills fan and like loving Josh Allen more than a grown man should love another grown man that he's never met before, probably. Like Josh just seems like a good dude. So it's like, okay. And my kid loves him. So, but Dan Marino just, I don't know, like he's just arrogant. So he's unpaid. He never won the big game. Not that Jim Kelly ever did either, but he at least went to more than Dan did. He went once and then never got the Super Bowl after that. So yeah, Dan Marino, unpaid.
Unpaid.
There we go. I got an unpaid in there finally, but I feel like that was a softball, Joey. You give me.
Well, so would he be underrated if he'd held the laces out for Ray Finkel?
Well, they would have won a Super Bowl then.
Yeah,
I think, right? So then maybe he would have been underrated. But yeah, that's like, so my generation of Bills fans, like the Dolphins was like I hate the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like them at all. Like the Patriots, I dislike because Tom Brady, but like it was the Patriots.
Everybody hates the Patriots.
Well, yeah, but it's like whatever. Like and now they suck again, so it's like great, and they're gonna fire their coach already, so that's pretty cool. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you passed unpaid and underrated, and even got the bonus points for the Ray Finkel joke. Keith, did you catch the Ray Finkel joke? Do you know what it's from? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Ace Ventura for the Davids.
For the Davids, yes, it's from Ace Ventura, guys.
It's a movie.
This is a long one. But I mean, that's no reason to stop.
No, that's I like the episodes when you have your homies on and you don't realize it's already over 2 hours and we still have, I know he had mentioned some before we recorded, he had some good ones for us. So I think it's time for Lucas to, turn it around on us and see what he's got for us.
Okay. So this is, and my headphones are dying here, so we'll see how much we can get out of this. But for both of you, and I kind of include myself in this, least fun, most fun about becoming a master's lifter in the next year. So Keith, you can go first.
The most, I think about this a lot sometimes. Just so for powerlifting specifically, I guess being able to like more or less guarantee you're gonna take home a medal, because there's only like the likelihood that there's because even at 3 you're still taking home a medal, that there's 4 masters in your weight class. That's like not existent, in submasters. Last year I thought I was golden, and then like just looking like 7 submasters at the fucking Lift Hard Live Easy in your weight class. I'm like, well, fuck you guys. I guess I don't get a medal this year. But I think I actually did that one year. But I guess the most, so that's the most fun in powerlifting. The most fun for strongman will be, not having to go novice, but still getting slightly lighter weights. So, as someone I'm never going to have the strength of the open class in my weight range in strongman, just ever. It's legitimately never going to happen. So at least in masters, take 20% off everything, kind of give or take is what it looks like from what I've seen from Iron Podium. And I can do those weights, maybe.
Yeah.
So being able to actually still compete in the sport that I'm falling in love with of strongman, and not have to fucking get my balls busted for still doing novice after a year, and well, fuck you, I'm a masters. I'm literally masters next time I compete in strongman, you fucks. I guess the least fun about all of that would just be the act of getting older and still being a competitive lifter, and the excruciating knee and calf pain I'm experiencing right now. And I had a fucking compression cuff on my calf all night, and I did so much work on like trying to work out this huge Charlie horse I had last night that brought me to tears, like 2 days before I have to have a competition where I'm trying to like push press aggressively, and like, oh, I really hope my knee and fucking calf hold up. So yeah, just the pain of becoming older and just life in general. Like I had a pretty aggressive work week the last 2 weeks on a project. So a lot of bending and twisting and going up and down stairs and getting my fat ass in awkward positions, around furnaces and stuff. So it was just, a lot of pain from work this week that maybe I wouldn't have had at 25.
What about you, Joey? Least fun, most fun becoming masters.
Most fun. Except for being sick all the time, I'm actually in pretty decent shape. And sharing that story earlier where it's not a lot of weight, but it was 270 pounds for 5 reps and it was fucking butter, is huge for me, because like I just went and did it. Very little warm up, feeling like trash, had a terrible month, terrible week, but forced myself to go in, just knowing that I'm still strong, right? Am I going to say like the strongest? I'm not the biggest dude. I'm not like the alpha silverback, whatever. I'm not that type of guy, but knowing that like I'm still in decent shape turning 40. Least fun, I'm probably never competing again, to be honest with you. Unless a meet comes up that is absolutely fun looking and incredible. I've done my meets. Paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars to somebody just to put my name on a website and watching them pocket a bunch of money I'm just over it, to be honest with you. It just isn't what I want to do anymore. I can lift, I can be strong, as long as my kids and my wife see me as still physically capable. I'm content, right? I'm probably going to lower my maxes on Juggernaut and just stay strong. I don't need to continuously get stronger at the age of 40. I'm still probably I'm never going to hit the 500-pound deadlift I wanted to hit. I got close at 469, but that was, nice. So yeah, that's probably the least fun, is I'm just over the competing aspect, unless I find a competition that's absolutely incredible. And
well, you just got to come and do strongman. More fun.
Juggernaut Beta has strongman training. And I think on the next rollout I can switch to it. And I might just do everything. I might pull a Scance and be like, this summer I'm going to do one of everything. I don't care if I'm last. I'm still the last of the strongest people in this room, which is still dope. But I think as far as powerlifting goes, I'm over federation. I'm really over federations. I know that we don't get political
except
talk.
For PP poo poo.
PP poo poo is definitely going to be
Nice.
I still think that's
Nice.
really funny, and I love that people are referencing it every once in a while. It's pee poo unless you pay
Yeah.
twice. Then you get the pee poo poo level of membership. So yeah, I that's probably the least fun is being in having to deal with federations and all of that shit. That's why I loved XPC so much. I was just like, wait, I can not wear shoes. I can just show up in a singlet. Like you're not checking anything. I literally just get to lift, and you're just gonna spot like you're gonna call me on my cues. Whereas the WRPF, they're so strict and they're so like they check your and all that, and it's just like, why? Like I'm going on the same thing as some dude who's jacked on HGH and gear, and it's just always going to show up that he's better than me. It's just always going to show up. So really, like I gave you $200 today for the luxury of saying my name is on a website, but maybe that's just me.
What about you, Lucas? Same question.
The most fun is just being able to compete in Masters, and like you said, like
You're gonna be
mostly,
really competitive in Masters too.
yeah,
I mean,
like mostly I'll actually be able to like not zero a pressing event, so that's going to be
nice.
pretty fucking awesome because I'm sick of that. The
You're
least
not gonna go
fun.
Masters at local competitions, though. You're not gonna go Masters at East Ave,
Well,
though, right?
He has to.
well,
No,
to
you can still
qualify
go
for
open.
nationals,
Oh, strongman's
to
different
qualify
than
for,
okay.
yeah, you can't just do like both. Although maybe Tim would let me. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we have to
I just
cross
gotta make
that.
sure you don't. I just gotta make sure you don't knock me out of any chance to podium or anything. Not that there's even podium. There's like strongman's weird. I don't think we.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess no, they still do podiums, but
Yeah.
it'll
We
be
do
me
for
and
second, third for everything.
I just need no one else other than we can only have one more guy. And well, we won't be the same weight. Well,
I caught
I
that,
don't.
Lucas. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen back. Sorry to
Um,
interrupt.
no, it's okay. So that's going to be the most fun is like being more competitive. That was like going to nationals last year was like really disheartening, just getting my ass kicked when I'm like, oh, I thought I was getting strong finally. But yeah, so the least fun part, I think, is just what you were talking about, Keith. Like me and my massage gun have become really good friends every night. Like I've been getting up and doing like mobility yoga every morning. Like I tweaked my back a couple weeks ago, which is like weird for me. Like Tim even said, he's like, dude, I thought your back was always good. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's elevated poles. Like this happens like literally every 2 years in October. I just like throw my back out doing an 18-inch pull because like my back doesn't like that. I don't know. So that's the least fun is just being old and having to do more recovery shit than I want to do.
Makes sense.
Oh, and then so I get to keep going. I got to remember that I'm the host now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
So unpaid or underrated, Keith. This is the deep cut for you. I was going to do least fun, most fun with this, but I'm changing. Unpaid or underrated, selling vintage York weights specifically on Rochester Craigslist. Because I remember when I first was building out like my home gym back in like 2019, seeing your posts like that you'd repost, I feel like once a week, and seeing like your neighborhood, and I'm like, what fucking med student is selling vintage York plates?
He does
like,
live right by the college.
Yeah, that's like what's mostly in his neighborhood is people like med students who work at the hospital right there. So
I would always. You might. Was I actually selling stuff? Because I used to Craigslist. I used to like go OCD and like always. I'd have wanted ads on Craigslist.
Oh, maybe it was looking for them. I don't know. I can't.
So
it was
like because you weren't supposed to do that on Craigslist, but like if you worded it a certain way and avoided a couple of keywords, like you get away with it for a while. But then people would always flag it. So like Craigslist in general, like Craigslist and vintage weights in general, I built my entire fucking gym basically on Craigslist because it was like Marketplace wasn't a thing or wasn't really like 10 years ago. Marketplace, like if it existed, it wasn't anything. So like I was a huge user of Craigslist as far as just buying and selling anything on Craigslist or Marketplace is fucking horrible though because people are fucking ridiculous and it's outrageous. The worst thing about Craigslist was like it was easier to get scammed with because you'd get a text or and they'd like tell you they'd want it and then like they need you to fucking send them a money. They want to send you a money order and then you give them money and shit. I'm like, are you fucking like so I So unpaid, I guess, as far as trying to pretty much do it, the majority of it would be unpaid because just dealing with people is fucking challenging. But every now and then when you find the gym that you want, I know that's definitely, I get, yeah. So overall, it is anything fucking buying and selling is unpaid as fuck because people are horrible.
It's funny you brought that up because unpaid visiting Keith during med school graduations.
It was a rough week. Picked up a bad week to get a hotel. I could see a bad week to get a hotel at a fair rate.
It was not overpaid for one night, and they were like, your room's not ready because didn't expect you to be here. Like, that's funny.
Okay, Joey, this is harkening back to last week. I didn't see whatever you posted in this Discord about this, but I'm one of the 5 people I think who knows about this. So unpaid or underrated, Varg Vikernes of Norwegian death metal. I think you referenced him.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you knew of. This is very much a Massonomics one, making sure you understood the reference that I'm making here. So unpaid or underrated, Varg Vikernes. If you would like to elaborate for the listeners on who Varg is, or give more context, feel free.
Okay, so he was obviously he was the guitarist,
mm-hmm.
right? Because it was the singer that killed himself.
Yeah.
And Varg ended up, just doing some crazy. I think he still has a piece of that guy's skull.
Oh, and he also went to prison for stabbing someone too.
Yeah,
he ended up murdering someone later.
And
after burning churches.
He might have burnt a couple churches, we're not. So I'm gonna. He's like, mayhem is mayhem. They fucking even if they didn't invent it, they perfected Norwegian black metal. That trash can recorded in your basement. What's a bass?
The boss HM, the boss heavy metal pedal that I've played with that sound because it's just fun to just have your guitar sound like a legit buzzsaw that's just taking your head off. Yeah.
Turn off the low end. They perfected that. At the same time, I don't listen to mayhem. I don't like the closest thing to black metal I listen to is a band called Black Tongue, or even Lorna Shore, which is like blackened death metal or deathcore. I don't listen to real black metal because it is the worst. Satyricon, probably I think I have 1 or 2 of their albums somewhere. Cradle of Filth, mostly glam metal, but still kind of close to that black metal genre. So Varg is very unpaid because the dude was just psychotic, but like in a time where musicians were expected to be that. Ozzy was snorting ants, biting bats. Like, people were doing dumb shit back then as musicians, and this dude did also dumb shit, but like still in the realm of dumb rock star stuff. So unpaid is my final answer. But yeah, no, I knew because I was the one that explained it, where Ryan posted that meme and I was like, oh, dude, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he posted the Brad the Pad
Brad
meme
the Pad to the rescue.
So they actually made that was a cover of one of their albums, was the dead body of the singer, if I recall correctly. And obviously that got pulled. Like, nobody was going to sell that album. So yeah, that was I understood the reference.
So if it sounds like you're pretty well versed, but if you want a good retelling of the story of Norwegian black metal, last podcast on the left did a series on it. So it's, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes that are roughly an hour a piece. So with all your extra time, check that out. That's after
the backlog.
Yeah, that's like the podcast that got me into podcasts. Is last podcast on the left. So they're good. They'll like interject random history type things in there, but they do true crime. They do like cryptids and UFOs and all that other stuff. So it's
that does sound up my alley. So I just knew that because of obviously just following metal for so long, but I also read Ian Christie's History of Metal.
Okay, yeah. Right? Which they actually, thinking about that, like, I know this last podcast, they like have reference materials when they talk about it. So that name sounds familiar. So maybe they used that.
That book, I think, was the last book that I read and couldn't put down. I was like, I need to get through this. Now, that book was a love letter to Metallica, because if there's 20 chapters in the book, 18 of them are about fucking Metallica. But he does interject some stuff in there, and I think some of that was in there, but that was all stuff I kind of already knew.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I thought I was goth, black metal, or whatever. I still paint my nails. I'm still a little spooky.
No. What made me laugh was that we did I think it was Nate's thing where they said, was this Keith or Joey self-identifying as goth? And someone actually thought that like I was the goth self-identifier, not you. And I'm like, do you fucking know who either of us are? Like was that,
Yeah.
that was Nate's, like, I don't know, it was whatever the last episode Nate did with some of the boys, and I was just like, wait, what? Like, you really think that I could be goth?
The guy that does all of his meets with black nails,
I know.
black everything, coming out to death metal. Yeah, no, it was definitely Keith.
It just made me chuckle.
A kid from West Virginia being goth is.
I mean, there are definitely goth emo kids and shit.
Goth isn't a regional thing. Goth is a mindset, a sad mindset.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Amazing.
Perfect. I do
bring it on home.
I do have one more for Lucas. I know we're going way late, but I meant to add it to the notes earlier. What is I was gonna start asking everyone this now that we got the new supporting membership cards. What is your current number? Because you joined. It sounded like you joined before both Joey and I, so you got to be below us.
My current number is 98.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said okay.
Yes, March 1st, 2022 is when I joined.
Well, there was definitely a Discord by then.
Really? I feel like there wasn't. I don't know.
There had to have been.
No,
I was number 47, and I joined the Discord the same day.
Okay, so I guess maybe I just
Discord was for like 3 months, I think.
Yeah, he just didn't join. He just didn't join the Discord.
Okay, so you're right behind me then. So yeah, if Joey's in the 40s, I'm in the 70s. You're in the 90s. So yeah, that's
so my original number, because I have both of my cards right here, because like I said, I came prepared.
Oh yeah,
my original number was 136.
That's so everyone's lost about 40 spots. Yeah,
38 spots I improved.
So
and that proves my kind of thing there, because I went from 66 to 47, and I still think that people under 100 probably dropped the least.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's something that Lucas should get from, get all that information from Tanner, and I want to see a whole mapped out spreadsheet algorithm.
Who's the new 69?
No one. It hasn't been released yet. Like
unacceptable.
Because I asked that like 2 weeks ago. I feel like, and like I think a couple other people have asked it since, and I've yet to see anyone post it.
You're never gonna take one from Scott's, or from Big Hot. So you've got to be who's the coveted number 69.
If Tanner wants to give me the membership,
is it coveted?
Coveted, isn't it?
Coveted. What did I say? Coveted.
You said coveted like 19, like coveted 19.
That's fucking hilarious. No, is it coveted or yeah,
coveted.
This is the thing. I don't talk to people. I just read. So everything I see is read.
And that's the thing is I don't read a ton, but I consume audio audio talking. I just don't speak well.
There you go. Somebody's gonna try and call me on that one too.
All right. So we got all that handled. I think we're good to bring this one in. So I'm going to hit you guys with some affiliate links. So we got Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, Belt Fed Strength, and apparel from the Strength Co. Use code unpaid at all.
Use code unpaid.
So that.
Oh yeah, hit me with COVID and you're out here. You use code unpaid.
Oh, that's great. Big Lucas, where are they going to find you at again, buddy?
Lucas likes to lift things on Instagram, and that's the only place I really exist on the internet.
Perfect. Big Jen, happy birthday. Big Joey, where are they going to find you at?
Same place as always, Joey_Malesko. I only have one underscore, unlike some people. And and that's like me. Like you can add me to Facebook, but I barely post on Facebook. So,
all right, make sure you go hit up the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, Instagram, the website unpaidinternpodcast.com. And I'm Keith Honeycutt. You can follow me on Instagram, Keith Honeycutt 73. Go follow my Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar, and we'll see you next Tuesday.